This is the Big O Show. 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 This is...
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmiths in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business, car key replacements, and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
Statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Good morning. Hey Siri, who's the best team in the NFL?
So far, the Dolphins are in first place in the NFL with a record of 2-0.
Comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Baby, welcome aboard to the program. It's Friday. You made it. You can relax throughout the weekend while Sean and myself and the rest of the staff work on the Canes and Dolphins and get it going for you throughout the weekend. Yes, welcome aboard to the platform that never sleeps. And I want to thank Siri. That was a nice way to wake up this morning, right? What was that? How was that? Oh, okay. There we go. All right. Now we're centered. We're better. Okay. All right. So let's see. There we go. Okay. So welcome aboard. We are now centered and ready to go from the KSDT CPA offices in Doral. Love it. Love it. Love it. They do have offices in Broward and in Palm Beach. Just opened one in Palm Beach 2 months ago, I think. Or something like that, like 2 months ago. So they've got all of South Florida covered now, baby. Whether it's personal or business, but nice way for Siri to wake up to us. Although I'm told that if you're in another part of the country, it doesn't really say the same thing. It tells you several teams that are. Yes, it tells it's a regional thing. Siri's very regional there. So just in case you try it and you're in Georgia, it may not say it, or in North Carolina, or in New York, or in California. It may not say it, but here in South Florida, Siri is massaging us. And so I figured I'd pass it on to, the rest of the Dolphin Nation all around the world that checks this program out every single day. And we always appreciate all of you out there. As always, thank you, thank you, thank you. At least for me, I thought that was cool. It was, it's fun to see. Anyway, Karen says, great intro, Big O. Siri knows what's up exactly. That's it. Brooklyn Rob says, good morning, Big O and Sean. I see Siri knows what's this morning. That's right. What's up this morning, he says. Castaway Chris says, Big O, good morning from upstate New York. My wedding was beautiful, and the Dolphins' 2 wins were just as good. Well, congratulations, my brother. And may you have many, many, many happy years. That is awesome. Good for you. Lisa Rose says, hey, happy Friday, Fins Nation from the ROC, where fall has arrived with a vengeance. Nervous but excited for Sunday. Tony also loving Siri. Anthony Campos, morning, Big O. Found a home yet for Dolphins? Nope, not yet. Not yet. We're still working on all that for Dolphins and Canes. We're trying to finalize everything, but, Victor says, I just tried it in Georgia. Siri says they're number one. Let's go. Oh, so in Georgia, you still have it. There you go. And Virginia, too. There we go. So in Virginia, they're getting it. Yeah, baby. That's Dolphin country. Yeah, all we got to do now is just watch the boys beat Buffalo. And then no matter where you're at, Siri's going to say, hey, man, it's all about the Dolphins. That's all. It's pretty simple. Nothing wrong with that. That's what I was telling you yesterday, that if this thing continues and they become a good team, it dwarfs everything that goes on in this town. Absolutely everything. Doesn't matter what it is. It's amazing, but that's what will happen because that's football, man. And that was nice. That was nice to wake up to a little Siri love this morning. So I like it. Let's see what else. Y'all ready for the game and the hurricane next week? Yeah, Derek's already reminding us because he's the meteorologist, right? So he sends me this whole thing. Hey, I hope you're going to talk about this today. And it's like, it's a week from now, bro. I don't want to depress people. Derek, I get it. It's your job, right, to tell us about something that's happening a week from now, which, by the way, I went and bought my water and everything yesterday. But really, when you look at it, okay, I'm not going to worry about something that's a week away. It's like Marcel on the post-game report. He's already talking Bills. And I get it. He has Bills underwears on, Bills socks on. He's probably got a Bills TV on, all that kind of stuff, right? And you notice, right? Jay Skursky was like, yeah, no, I follow my boy Marcel. So I'm telling you, see, that's Marcel doesn't know that I have all the connections in Buffalo too, okay? Sniffing him out, bro. I know what's up. So, he brought up that Buffalo stuff in the middle of our glorious post-game show. Like, bro, we don't want to talk about the Bills now. We got time to talk about them. So, Derek, we have time to talk about that storm. I don't want to worry about that storm now because I know how it is. You know what happened with Andrew, right? It wasn't supposed to hit Dade County. It was supposed to go into the I believe it was the Dade-Broward line or the Broward-Palm Beach line or whatever, and it jogged south and it walloped the Keys and Homestead. Just absolutely walloped. And so that's what I don't know. Will it jog more east? Will it jog more west? What's it going to do? I have no idea. And so, 4 days from now, it might be going into the Gulf and unfortunately to our friends, in other places. So that's why I love you, but I don't like harping on negative stuff when it's not there. It's just, I don't want to do that. So that's kind of the way I live my life, So I just rather stay on the positive if I can. If it's obviously negative, then it's obviously negative and you can't do anything about it. But I don't want to force myself into negativity. It's like the guy that calls you and says, oh, you're losing on crypto. And did I sell? When really? I lost? I haven't lost a penny. I haven't sold a damn thing. You lose or you make money when you sell. I haven't sold anything. So just like if you own Tesla stock, yeah, you're down, but you haven't lost any money. You just got to stay patient, hang in there, and then it'll bounce back and explode, and then you'll make your money. Pablo says, Big O, I've been watching all the detractors. It seems to me that while they guarantee the Finns will lose, they sound nervous. Well, we all predicted this. You all predicted it. Okay? It was happening on the chat board constantly. Those of us, see, the problem with the detractors, okay, most of them have zero balls. That's the problem with detractors. They have zero balls. You said this, you said that. Just say, Hey, I said this and I was wrong. That's all. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm dead wrong. Example, we've talked a lot about the Tua stuff, right? But okay, and the detractors are there for the Tua stuff. You know, it's also calmed down and nobody's talking about where are all the idiots that were picking on Chris Greer? Firing Chris Greer. He can't do the job because, you know, if Tua hits, that's his quarterback. And he's hit on a whole bunch of other draft picks. He's hit on undrafted people. He did a great job now that he got rid of his, you know, that's where he screwed up is the flow thing. But now that he got rid of the coach, he was able to really maneuver the team and make transactions the way he wanted to because what did I tell you? They hired a coach now that's going to coach the players, not personnel director. And that's where they screwed up with Gase. And then I told you they screwed up by giving Flo personnel power. And you can't do that. If you haven't proven it, you don't deserve it. And so now Mike McDaniel doesn't have, he can suggest, hey, I need a guy like this. Okay, we'll go find him for you. Here he is, Eric Ezukama. Hey, I need a guy like this. Okay, yeah, we'll go find him for you. Chase, whatever, you know, those kind of things. Chris is the kind of guy that's going to work with his coach anyway. Because if his coach wants certain, if Josh Boyer loves that corner from Division II, and then you know what, Chris is going to say, okay, you love him, you coach him, so you believe in him. Let's go get him. They paid him a little extra money. They brought him over. Kader Kohu. The rest is history. So he's going to work with people. But where are all the Chris Greer detractors? That's what I want to know. Because I already got the Tua cowards. Okay, there's a crap ton of Tua cowards. Where are the Chris Greer cowards? Because you had him fired. He sucks. This, that. The 2020 draft and all that crap. If you hit on Tua, who cares? But you also hit on Raekwon. You also hit on Brandon Jones. And Austin Jackson was now starting to turn the corner. So who cares what happens with Iggy? The rest of your drafts are awesome. Free agency, you've done a terrific job. Trading, you've done a marvelous job. Undrafted free agents, you've done a fantastic job. Where are all the Chris Greer detractors? That's the problem with all of this. They run and they hide and they make excuses. That's what they do. And you knew that they were going to make excuses, right? You knew that they were going to make excuses because that's what they do. Instead of being stand up and say, I said this and I was wrong. I do it all the time. When I'm wrong, I'll tell you, dude, I was wrong. Hell, the other day, I accidentally set a bet the wrong way. But I know what I bet. And I know I lost. And I took the L instead. Those of you that listened to me, you know what I said, and I actually did not pay attention to what I said. I said the reverse. You ended up winning, but I didn't count it as a win for me. I counted it as a loss because I know what I bet on. When you're wrong, period. End of story. And we're all human beings, and we're all going to screw up. But that's been the worst part about this. You sat there and said Chris Greer can't draft. He doesn't deserve to be there. You said even dumber shit, like he's been there 15, 18 years, and he was never in charge then. Clearly, you can tell he's in charge now because it's a completely different team, the way it's run, the deals, everything. You could tell he's really in charge the last couple of years. But where are they? But where are you? You said he was short. You said he couldn't throw the ball. You said all kinds of shit about Tua. Where are you? Don't give me that crap. Oh, well, no, now he's healthy. Well, weren't you smart enough? Didn't you figure out he was coming back from a hip injury? You didn't have patience for him to get healthy? Oh, no, now I see that he's got weapons. Oh, so you didn't figure out that he had no weapons before that? Oh, no, not. Oh, of course he's playing well now. No, he's got a coach that believes in him. Oh, so you that never came into your equation? That he had a coach that was scheming against him? I'm sorry, you didn't listen to our platform that kept telling you that all the time? That's the problem with all of this. Okay? There is no credibility with those people. And that's the problem. You just can't talk a whole bunch of shit like you did about Tua and about Chris Greer, by the way. I'm not going to let that slide either. I'm not done with people. I haven't even started with you. Okay? Because as the season goes on and the Dolphins get better, I will become way more obnoxious and I will be calling out people by name. I'm not doing it yet because it's too early. It's only one exploding game. But as the season goes on, if they go this way, and I'm talking about the team and Tua, I will be going after the Greer detractors, and I will be going after the Tua detractors. Okay? I got your quotes. I heard you talk about it. Plenty of people, and every day heard people just slamming Chris Greer. Boy, they're mighty quiet now. Huh? You're like that little punk that hides behind the trees. You throw the rocks and you hide or you run and, that kind of stuff. That's what you are. You're a hit and run artist. That's what's going on with Tua and with Greer. A whole bunch of hit and run artists in writers, TV, and radio. Okay? What's left of radio? You have plenty of hit and run artists locally on radio. Hopefully they don't humana, and they come forward and say, I was dead wrong about Chris Greer. I was dead wrong about Tua. That was stupid of me to assess a player when he doesn't have talent around him, when he doesn't have coaching, when he's coming back from a hip injury, and he's got a coach that was scheming against him. And if you couldn't see that, dude, then I don't trust your football assessments. That's what also comes with it. Because if you didn't see what was freaking obvious, then I can't trust your football assessment. Because on this platform, for 2 years, I told you Tua's a Pro Bowler. Tua's a star. Tua could take you to a championship. But he doesn't have what he needs around him in order to do it. They got nobody blocking. They got nobody running. They got a coach that can't build an offense. That's what we kept telling you. So to me, that's my problem with all of this. Accountability. And that's why, and this is why Tuanon and should be also Greeranon should be pissed off at the anti-Tua people and the anti-Greer people because you did it without facts. It's interesting. There's a lot of things that go on in the world today, a lot of accusations that go on without facts. Goes on a lot. So, yeah. And that's the problem there. And I'm not and I'm not letting that Chris Greer stuff slip. There's a lot of people that are backtracked. Boy, they're quiet now. They don't even mention Chris Greer anymore. I don't see it on the chat board. All those cowards are gone too. They're not coming. I go, oh my God, you know what, dude? Yeah, Chris Greer is good. He's really good. I'm glad we have him here. He's the best general manager we've had in forever. Forever. Here, I'll say it. Better than Jimmy Johnson. Way better than Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson found terrific defensive players. He did nothing else. As good as he was on defense, he was that bad on offense. There was no balance to anything he did. So I'd like to hear it, but I don't see the accountability. They just disappear. They're like Homer Simpson into the bush. That's exactly what I see. Let's see. Michael says, Big O, the Bills radio station up here picked up the Bills to legitimately go 17-0 after week 2. That's how you know radio is dead. Fulgencio says, you predicted and it finally came to fruition. Backpedaling season is on. Let them know. Oh, that's true. I mean, Carlos Calle Says, morning, Big O in chat. All I want is a competitive game that comes down to one or two plays. Win or lose, go Fins. I do too, Carlos. I do too. I want them to win. Of course, we all want the Dolphins to win that are Dolphin fans. But you need a respectable performance this week to feel good. To say, yeah, no, what happened the last 2 weeks? Yeah, no. Yeah, that's not freakish. That's not an aberration. That's not something that it's typical Dolphins. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff. I'm with you. And Drago says crickets on Greer. I mean, it's amazing. Jules says Tua hasn't won nothing yet. Actually, Jules, he's won more than he's lost. With very little talent around him throughout his career. He's 15-8. So, yeah, he hasn't won a championship, but man, he's got a better winning percentage than than Justin Herbert. And that's the problem. That's the problem with you folks that don't want us to praise Tua, but you're more than open for bashing Tua. You're so quick to call him a bust, but we can't celebrate his successes. I love that double standard approach to it all. So beautiful. Big O, think how well we are set up if Tua McDaniel hit along with Greer. Yeah, I'm telling you, you finally replaced Shula and Marino. Finally, you haven't replaced Robbie because this owner can spend, but he is also a detriment because he gets in your way. Your owners can cost you a first or a third rounder. That's unacceptable. Hey, I'll give you something also that I tweeted it out last night. Can you find the tweet that I have posted on my Twitter page from last night I showed the picture of Deshaun Watson and they put all the timeline and all that crap. So I tweeted this out and he'll bring it up in a second here and we'll talk about it meanwhile. So yesterday in the middle of that game, which happens, I'm sure, with every Browns broadcast, right? The Deshaun Watson storyline has to come out. And all the things he has to do and the treatment he has to go through and this and that. And I tweeted out when I saw that, I took a picture of it and I said, thank the Lord that the Dolphin Nation doesn't have to go through this embarrassment, through this disgrace or whatever. I'm paraphrasing whatever it said there. And I'm so happy because look at where we're at right now. 2-0 going into a Bills game. We got a shot at actually winning that game. If our team doesn't win that game, then we can at least, if they come up with a hell of a performance and they're 2-1, we're going to feel like, hey, man, the Dolphins have actually cut the gap between them and the Bills. They played a hell of a game. Yeah, they're 2-1. The Bills won, but we knew that they were the better team anyway. We knew that they're the Super Bowl caliber type team. Miami needs to get there, but man, they've made strides in really short time with Mike McDaniel. My God, you win that game. Wow. So look at where we're at as a Dolphin Nation right now. Things are beautiful, dude. We got a coach that we really like. We love his offensive mind, right? We love that it looks like, people can grow with him, all of those things. And then if we had to deal with the Watson mess, and by the way, if you win the Watson mess, guess what you also end up keeping? Brian Flores. Because then he gets his way, right? I mean, think about this, man. Think about the fork in the road we were at. You could go with Greer, McKenzie, and Allen, and go with their plan with Tua and everything that they're doing now and all that. Or you could have stayed with Flo and you would have ended up with Watson and you would have ended up with this mess that you weren't going to go to the playoffs by the time he gets back or whatever. And then you have to root for a team that is led by an alleged rapist. That was going to put me in a really awkward position with the Dolphins, like an incredibly awkward position with the Dolphins. And then think about this. We had two idiot owners that wanted to go get Tom Brady, who, by the way, I don't know what's going on in his world, but he's in a battle with Giselle. So he would have come to the Dolphins in a battle with Giselle, whatever. I don't know. He practiced this Wednesday, but I don't know if he's going to practice any other Wednesdays or whatever. It's just a mess. You would have only had him for 1 year. You don't even know if you're really going to win it. And then he leaves and you give up all those assets to acquire him for what, dude? Think about the mess that you're the Brady one. At least you have a chance to win or something, but there's a nightmare and a can you imagine he comes over here and then he takes 11 days off in the middle of training camp with a new team because he promised Giselle that he would, go and these idiot owners, they would have said yes. Just think about where we would have been instead of where we are right now. So when I saw that picture of Deshaun Watson, that one right there you're seeing on the screen, I just it was like a punch in the gut. And I said, my God, this is what our team used to do. They used to do stupid ass things like this, and they almost did stupid ass things like this. I'm really, really grateful that we don't have to deal with this mess, because that's what it is. It's a mess. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace for the league, and it's a disgrace for the fact that you would have to even have him on your roster. I would have real problem with the Dolphins if they would have signed Deshaun Watson. As a father and a husband, dude, I'm sorry, man. I just no, man, no. I would have had a real problem with the Dolphins. A lot of you would not be happy with my show. I mean, in 30 years, I've done it before where, you guys weren't happy or whatever. So I remember when we signed Ndamukong Suh, and I said right away, stupid contract, bad deal. And I was the villain, of course. But that's, sometimes you have to lie on the sword, brother, just to tell people and open up their eyes, Last year, I'm telling you, in the middle of a win streak, Flores is going to get fired. And it's like, why, But sometimes, sometimes you got to be the bad guy to be the good guy. And luckily, nobody in town has been ever willing to do what I do, to be the bad guy, to end up being the right guy when it's all said and done. So, but that's all right. I'm always willing to lie on the sword. It's not a big deal. Big O, if McDaniel wins on Sunday, we will go to McDaniel's Mania. Yes, McDaniel's Mania, Tua Mania, and then I'm not hearing enough of it. I better start hearing some Greer Mania, because I heard a lot of Greer bashing. We're about to talk to Ira Winderman, and I got a lot of Spo bashing. I remember back in the day. And again, I had to be the bad guy because there was a bunch of you with the what was it, shoulder gate, or what the hell was that called with LeBron? Bump gate. That's it. And I was steadfast on Spo every single time. And I'm glad, because Spo has proven to be one hell of a coach. Oh, no, he can only win with Wade. Yeah, well, did you watch him with the scrubs? Go 31-10 the second half of a season, almost make the playoffs with scrubs? That's a freaking coaching-ass job right there. You watch players get better under his ass with all kinds of assistant coaches. He's actually turned over his staff a couple times. Sometimes you got to have some patience, and you got to hang in there with some people. Okay, whether it's Chris Greer, whether it's Tua Tagovailoa, whether it's, Eric Spoelstra, sometimes you've got to go through, hell before you get to heaven. But you have to see through the trees and see who's worth going through hell before you get to heaven. Ryan Tannehill was not worth it, but you got to know that Spo is. You got to know that Tua is. You got to know that Greer is. But you got to be steadfast on it. And we're going to go through peaks and valleys in sports. That's part of it. But you stick with the people that can get you through those moments and make the best of it. And Spo's done it over and over again in the worst of times. Oh, blood clot, he's out. Okay, we'll adjust. Oh, he's back. We'll adjust. Oh, he's out. Okay, no, we got to get rid of him. Okay, we'll adjust. Oh, you're going to give me a whole bunch of journeymen. Okay, we'll adjust. Oh, you're going to get a bunch of young guys. Okay, we'll adjust. Oh, but you know what? I'll make the whole league adjust to me. We'll go positionless. You know? Like Mike McDaniel in that interview with Andre Hawkins, with Rich Eisen, that he says McDaniel studies and does and will do the opposite of what you think. Spo does the same thing. You know, that's what I was I was talking with Sean about that yesterday. It was like, okay, so you see McDaniel talk with other coaches and about and show his players Allen Iverson. What did I tell Sean yesterday? Spo went to go talk to football coaches and all that. He went outside of the box because he's an outside of the box thinker. It's funny how Spo and McDaniel are actually kind of the same dudes. Modern day coaches, they know how to communicate with today's players. They know how to adjust differently than what the norm was. Oh, I know how Pat Riley does it, but that's not how I'm going to do it. Yeah, no, I know his love for a center, and I get it. He threw Whiteside on me, but that's not my game. And he's established his identity, and that's what McDaniel's going to do now. You can tell. All right, let's get to it, man. There's some hot and heavy subjects in the NBA. Nobody covers it better than our guy, Ira Winderman from the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Let's get to it. Our Acura Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. That's next.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
He is. There he is. There he is. You have him now? What happened? We lost him. There he is. Okay. They were trying to stash you away there, Ira, like on the practice squad or on the what's that called? What's it called in the NBA now? Now I'm brain farting.
There is no injured list anymore because everyone is active. You just designate two players as inactive on game night, so you're inactive, but everyone's active. I was just checking out some quality pre-owned vehicles down at Acura Pembroke Pines, but I rushed back here in time. So,
by the way, we kind of got into that conversation in the afternoon yesterday, and then we just brought it up now. The similarities between Mike McDaniel and Spo. You know, Spo a few years back was going out to go see football coaches and see how they do things and how they teach their players and all that kind of stuff. And obviously he was, comparing notes and talking to coaches. And you see McDaniel, and there's that story where, Andre Hawkins was telling Rich Eisen that, he's showing us Allen Iverson film. And so it's funny how he then, relates one sport to another and thinks outside of the box. And it's funny now, we've got two coaches that are very similar in two different sports, but philosophies might be the same, actually.
Yeah, you know what? You want young, energetic, and optimistic. And here's the difference between the previous Dolphins coach and this one and Eric Spoelstra. Even if Eric Spoelstra is down and negative on someone, that's never the forward-facing view. He might confide in us privately or something like that, but there's never the dourness. So whether he trusted us on Whiteside or not, he said he's one of us. We move forward. Privately, it might be different.
Right.
And compare that to Coach Flores and his approach, which might have worked. Who doesn't know? Optimism is always just more enjoyable, is always more refreshing than sort of taking a negative slant. There have been plenty of players. I remember speaking to Spo on the side once and saying, how happy are you? You don't have any more a-holes in your team. I used a different word. And he responded to me, yeah, we have some, but he doesn't make a big deal out of it. Let's face this, Big O. It is not easy working with Jimmy Butler. He marches to the beat of his own drummer. But Spo will never come out publicly when Jimmy's staying at his own house in the playoffs away from the team or something like that. He just rides that all out. He puts out the good face forward. Behind the scenes, he'll handle it other ways. And that's what you do. So I do see that. And even though Spo's been here now more than a decade, he still has that young vitality to him. You see Spo, young family guy, you think of it that way. So that's a difference also. He's kept things fresh. He's kept things young. Like you mentioned before we opened our accurate Pembroke Pines report, he's turned over his coaching staff. He's had guys like Dan Craig and Juwan Howard, and the Bob McAdoo's and Keith Askins, and he's moved to other people. So there have been fresh voices and fresh faces now with Malik
But that
Allen
also
in there.
shows, by the way, that also shows his greatness, because you're, as a great coach, you're going to turn over your roster. You're going to lose people to promotions to other places. They're going to leave. They're going to retire, whatever it is. And you better replace them with people just as good or better. And you better have an eye for that. And to me, that's another sign of why Spo's a hell of a coach. And that's why I mentioned it, that he's turned over the staff several times, because to me, that's a huge sign that you
develop players and you develop coaches. David Fizdale went on to the Grizzlies, the Lakers, the Knicks. Juwan Howard, obviously, we've seen his success at the University of Michigan. Dan Craig gets a chance to be more of a frontline lead assistant guy with the Clippers as their defensive coordinator there. So it's a matter of he's developing players. And hey, if they want to cash out somewhere else, so be it. He's developing coaches. And if they want to cash out somewhere else, so be it. And it's nice to see that within the Heat. They keep their people if they want to stay, but they also develop people if they want to expand their horizons.
Yeah, it's a place where you're going to grow one way or another, either within, or it'll give you the stage to grow out.
Spread your wings.
It's a great organization. It's just it's a fantastic organization, top to bottom, not just basketball, but professionally. Even the employees that have been there forever, they take care of them. They do a really great job. All right, so let's get to the Udoka story, because we had people come out and kind of defend the thing or compare to Brett Favre. And, Ira, you and I have been a part of the corporate world. And there's a lot of people that work in, normal jobs that maybe aren't really mixed in a big corporate-like environment. And in our world, you and I are put in a position where we're talking about things, covering things, but you have to learn to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And to me, I had no problem with what the Celtics were doing, because I understand the corporate side of it. And now with the new development that now could be raising a lawsuit, this is why they don't want relationships inside businesses. This is why in a lot of places, if there's a relationship, you're supposed to come forward with it, and they'll acknowledge it, and then they'll say, okay, you guys are a relationship, great, now one of you has to quit.
But especially if you're someone superior and you can exert that force, there's a difference.
Dude, we impeached the president. We impeached the president for this.
Right. I mean, Eric Spoelstra was a Miami Heat assistant coach or video coordinator at the time who was dating a Heat dancer. They were in the organization. There are workplace romances everywhere. It's where you meet people. I mean, my wife worked at QAM. I was in the industry. That's how we met. Things like that happen. But there is also a professional scale where either you say, hey, relationship is at a point, I'm prioritizing the relationship. I'm going to step aside from my position of authority. You can do that, but you can't let it reach that. And you are so right in the fact that these are multi-billion-dollar corporations. Now that we see the value of teams, and that's what's so different about it. So whether it's a Robert Sarver and his behavior toward his employees, whether it's a Ime Udoka and a relationship in that kind of thing, and that's why of all of this stuff, it's amazing how you can do the right thing in the NBA. Donald T. Sterling, you're out of here. Robert Sarver, we're going to put so much pressure on you. Within a week of it coming out, you're selling the team. Ime Udoka, you're sitting for a season. And yet the NFL billion-dollar boys club, Daniel Snyder, still remains in charge of the Washington, whatever the hell you want to call them. And even he didn't want to change the original name that they had to what they are now. So there were different workplaces. And I think you would agree, Big O, and I know you have some conservative
by the way,
listeners
I'll gamble that Snyder's even worse than Sarver. How about that?
I think you would be right, and might have, and possibly up there with Sterling also, considering how long this has gone over the years. But that's the difference. The NBA takes a more liberal a more sort of holistic approach. The NFL is the $1 billion boys club.
I'm going to go with an accountable approach,
Yes.
dude.
And the NFL's always been the $1 billion boys club.
The NBA, the NFL is Teflon. The NBA
Yes.
is accountable. It's crazy, man.
It's different. I mean, look at even the NFL. They go through an entire preseason where linemen wear special helmet caps to reduce concussions. The NFL comes out and says they do reduce concussions, and then the season starts and the caps are gone because they don't look good. They hide the logo. They don't sell merchandise. It's just a different world. So look, I know there are people who say the NBA is the liberal league, the NFL is the conservative league. I just think the NBA is a league of compassion and decency. And whether you appreciate their voting initiatives they do, their civil rights initiatives, they're trying to get out there and trying to do the right thing. And that's why this is the do the right thing league. And that's how the Ime Udoka situation came out versus some of the stuff that goes on in the NFL. It's just the way it is.
Are we going from suspension to firing? Because if we're now going to a possible lawsuit, now you've created a real problem for the franchise.
This is just like Robert Sarver. Think about this, Big O. This was a team suspension. And I'm sure when Adam Silver found out, he goes like, nah, you handle this yourself. But just like Sarver, you're going to realize that you can't return from this, that it's going to expand. It was very interesting. I think it might have been Woj or someone else. I read the story that Ime Udoka's job options will be there whenever this runs out, that he's a highly successful coach, a respected Popovich assistant, got his team to the Eastern Conference Finals and the NBA Finals. I'm not so sure about that. Just like I'm not so sure that Robert Sarver is not owning a major business now and anyone's letting him in their club again. This is the kind of thing where the NBA basically said, look, we don't want to touch this for this reason. If the NBA enters, then they have to look at the relationships of every single employee for all 30 teams. This is a states' rights issue. So they, I'm sure, encourage the Celtics, keep your house in order. Let's not make this a rule where the NBA now has to have a blanket policy for all 30 teams. Operate your multi-billion-dollar business as you professionally should the best way. So that's why we have it. This is a remarkable story. And it's a remarkable story on two fronts. One, that it got this big and couldn't be handled earlier. And two, there's still so much we don't know. And the fact is, like, a lot of the female reporters and journalists are absolutely spot on. Everyone's trying to find the person. Everyone's trying to cast the victim or someone who ruined this or the person he was involved with. That's the problem of our social media, Twitter, and salacious society, is we always go to point B. And tell me the truth here, Big O. You're kind of curious who the woman is, right? Be honest, Big O.
A little bit, but
a little bit. Okay,
a little bit, but in the end, I blame Udoka, just like I blame Bill Clinton, just like I blame anybody that made dude. You're the one in power.
Authority.
You're the one in power, bro.
Whether it's Clinton, whether it's Donald Trump, whether it's anyone else who's been run out of Congress or business or something like that. When you're the person in authority, and also when you're being paid like the person of authority, and you're getting that. We all make decisions all the time. Whether you're married or not, you make a decision on how will this impact a greater picture, and people go ahead. You see someone is in a committed relationship. I don't care if you say you're married or not. When you're with the same person for 12 years, when you have two children by that same person, to me, you're married. To me, it's the same. And that does change my view of the situation.
I'm with you. Plus, it's Nia Long. Holy God. Come on, man. That's a smoke show. That by the way, that's the only reason I gotta be, because this is the guy in me now that comes out.
Yes, that's
I'll be brutally honest here. The only reason I want to see who she is, dude, you cheated on Nia Long. She better be,
it's salacious. It's salacious, and it makes you curious, and it turns the focus. And thank God I will be at Heat Media Day on Monday and not Celtics Media Day. And a matter of fact, today at 11 o'clock, the Celtics are having a press conference, which I'm sure they're going to try to do the old, this is the final time we're going to comment on this. But it's not, because you have a 34-year-old replacement neophyte coach guiding a team that, at least until yesterday, was the favorite to win the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, no, I'm 100% with you on that one, man. What are you working on over at the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out before Monday's meteor days?
There's a few things. One, I'm checking on if the Heat are still going to the Bahamas based on where this hurricane might come.
Oh,
And
that's right. I forgot about
if
that.
they need to rush back, I don't know if I'll be there. I'm not going to leave my family here. All of a sudden, this track pushed so far east overnight that I got to keep an eye on that, number one. And I'm finishing off my Heat 5 at 35 series, looking back at the 35 seasons of the Heat. I'm going to do my all Heat team on my Sunday column. I just filed that to the newspaper today to sort of say first team, second team, third team, who rates there. And again, the entire point of this process, Big O, is this. Please don't assume the Heat started when Pat Riley arrived in 95. Don't assume the Heat started when the big three got here in 2010. So I bring up names like Glenn Rice, like Sherman Douglas, like Steve Smith, because they deserve to be brought up. But today I just posted at sunsentinel.com my all sixth man team. And honestly, I have Tyler Hero number one. He's the only player in the Heat history to be Sixth Man of the Year award winner. Yeah. So I know that's recency bias. And I know you had Ray Allen coming off the bench, Shane Battier, Mike Miller, Dan Marley. We've had a bunch of guys like that. But Tyler Hero's singular season in 21-22 was as good as any Heat reserve ever recorded, broke Dwayne Wade's record for points off the bench in the season. So I think you got to acknowledge also. So I enjoyed getting that out of the way before the start of camp, but this is their 35th season. They'll have a special logo, I've heard, on the court to start the season. And you should celebrate before we sit down there and ask, who's going to be the starting power forward?
Yeah. Posey and what's it called? Trying to think of the other guy.
Antoine Walker played off the bench a bunch. You got
but
him.
Posey
also
was a sixth man, right? And Battier.
So Battier and Mike Miller are on my list. Yeah.
Those two guys. What I like, versus Tyler is that they were complete players. That they came off the bench and made offensive plays, but they also made defensive plays.
And I understand that.
That's the only area that I need Tyler.
But so many of the sixth men of all time, the Lou Williams and the Jamal Crawfords, have been offensive sparks, and that's what you want as well.
Vinny Johnson. I mean, it's just one of those deals. It's always been like that. You're a spark. That's what you are when you're a sixth man. You're really not, Alvin Robertson. You're not bringing in Alvin Robertson as your sixth man or Keith Askins.
Yes.
As your sixth man. No, that's your expert defender. You know what I'm saying?
But anyway, so I wanted to get that out of the way. Monday, I'll see you down at a media day. Hopefully, I won't be rushing off to the Bahamas. We'll talk then on our later than usual, maybe Acura Pembroke Pines report. And then next Wednesday, either in the Bahamas or Hurricane down here, our redrecover.com Inside the Paint Show, 9 a.m. with Kurt Heelan. And then it gets real because then we're talking in the moment about what's going on.
By the way, Devin Jordan has sent in a super chat. He says, "Morning, Ira. Any chance Chris Middleton would possibly leave the Bucks?"
I don't think so. I understand he's an pending free agent. The Athletic did a very long interview with him about his future. That's what you're going to hear. It's funny. As soon as one free agency is over, we look at everyone who's an impending free agent, whether it's Miles Turner or Chris Middleton, and you say, what if? The Heat will not have cap space next summer. And the Heat will definitely not have cap space next summer if Tyler Hero gets his extension. The moment for the Heat to make a super move is now before Tyler is extended. And that's going to be interesting, Big O, because that's one of the first questions we're all going to ask. Yeah. Tyler Hero and Eric Spoelstra is about the extension of where that stands, and the clock is ticking to that October 16th deadline.
Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat, and of course, subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel and get his work there every single day. Ira, as always, thank you. Have a fantastic weekend, my friend. Appreciate you.
And happily married 28 years. My hands are off. Thank you, Big O.
29 for me. Be good. There you go. How about that? Ira and myself, we've been married nearly 60 years, dude. Wow. It'll be 29 for us. We're not there yet. March 18th. So we're getting close. I mean, we're 5-6 months away? Something like that. Right? Something like that. So, yeah, we're getting close to number 29. We're actually getting November 5th is our boyfriend-girlfriend anniversary. And that started, so this will be our 36th year together. How about that? 36 years, November 5th. No, 35. We were together 6.5 years. Yes, exactly. 35. Because we were together 6.5 years before we got married. So we're about to celebrate 29. So yes, it's 35. So 35 years together. Is that some crazy shit or what? Devin Jordan, you sent in another super chat. I love you, brother. Sean and I really appreciate you, man. Morning. Oh, now media saying the Dolphins will beat the Bills because of the injuries in the secondary and all the backup DBs. LOL. Yeah. I mean, it's just the way it is. They're the better team either way. They're hurting in some areas, but like they don't mention that we have young secondary guys too because we have Byron Jones out. Nobody mentions that. Nobody mentions that the Dolphins are missing Byron Jones. That's all right. That's all right. Why? Because the guys that filled in are doing a decent job? Is that why? It's up to their backups now to do it. Hopefully they don't do a decent job. Brooklyn Rob, we dodged the bullet on Brady, Watson, and Peyton. Yep. And I want to remind you, I'm glad you brought that up, Brooklyn Rob, because I want to remind you all out there, okay? We did dodge a bullet with Watson. We did dodge a bullet for sure with Brady, okay? The Brady thing is, it's a different kind of mess, but it was a mess just like Watson. Because what are you going to do for 1 year with a disgruntled wife? So stupid. But the Sean Payton one, we dodged the bullet. And I want to tell you why we dodged the bullet with Sean Payton. I'm going to tell you 3 reasons why we dodged the bullet with Sean Payton. Are you ready for it? Are you ready? Jimmy Johnson, Bill Parcells, and Nick Saban. So just because he won a Super Bowl, Parcells and Jimmy won 4. Just because he's had success doesn't mean he was going to come here and have success. And he won his 1 title there, but he really never got back to another. He had some pretty good teams, but never really got back to another championship run where he lost in the Super Bowl or anything like that. So don't even ever imagine, we could have had Sean Payton. That doesn't mean you were going to win. Because, man, I thought we were going to watch the Dolphins win big with Jimmy. Oh, we were going to be special. Remember that? Some of you are way too young to know what the hell I'm talking about, but I'm sure you've heard the stories. And then you get Saban, and you beat out like 7 other teams over the last couple years leading up to that moment that were trying to get Saban. He would turn them all down, but Wayne got him. And he also got Parcells. And boy, did we think we were on our way with Parcells, especially after that first year with the Wildcat, 11-5, all that stuff, this, that. Of course, I was the sourpuss at that moment saying that really meant nothing because really had you gain some extra wins on a gimmick that's not going to last, and it is what it is. But whatever. But I was buying into Parcells overall. And that ran out real quick. Real quick. You found out like, yeah, no, this ain't the deal. George Young built the Giants that he won the 2 titles with. Oh, by the way, former Miami Dolphin executive George Young. George Young built the Giants that Parcells won with. He didn't shop for the groceries. So when Parcells shopped for the groceries, he won some, there's no doubt, but he never won a championship by shopping with the groceries. And we all thought we had the right combination, right? Saban, Jimmy, Parcells, and it didn't work out. And little do you know, the guy that looks like a geek, the guy that wears glasses, is the guy that's the difference maker. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing stuff. Football season is back. I see you've got the Sports Grill up there. Yes, sir. And don't forget, throughout football season, they've got football specials, $1.50 Bud Light, drafts and bottles during NCAA and NFL games. They've got new cocktails, only $5 during NCAA and NFL games, cherry lemonade and tailgate tea. Hot sauces are now available to take home, like buffalo sauce, Miami Heat, the blackberry barbecue, Dale. They've got them all, man. Doral is now coming soon. They've got 7 great locations. Number 8 is about to take over. The Kendall location has milkshakes every Monday with rock and roll music playing all night long. And there's nothing with There's nothing wrong with a little rock and roll. Mondays, $7 single smash burger, all kinds of stuff. They've got new menu items like the buttermilk chicken sandwich and the buffalo tater tots. Ooh, so good. And the bone-in wings are now just 15% off, and all during the games. So take advantage. Go to Sports Grill. Go to the website, sportsgrill.com. Check out one of the 7 great locations nearest you. Sports Grill. Good food, good friends, and good fun. That's what it's all about, baby. What else do we have here? Big O, I watched the Fins-Ravens game last night. Although I heard how horrible we were in the first half, I did not think it was that bad, but knew what was coming in the second half. Yeah, did they win it again in the replay? No? Oh, damn, dude. So we're 1-1 in the replay? Sucks, dude. Stay away from the replay. Our record goes down. Orlando as series. What does the Fox say? Okay, let's see. All right. Hey, Siri. What does the Fox say?
Ring ding 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 ginger ding.
Okay. And for those of you that don't know, hey, Siri. Who's got the best team in the NFL?
The Dolphins are in first place in the NFL right now, with a record of 2-0.
There you go. Thank you, Siri. I appreciate that. Jess. Very nice, Siri. All right, good. We'll have Dougley on at 1 o'clock. So we will have Dougley on. I'm looking forward to it. All right. Huh? Yeah, send him a link. Yes, send him a link. Juice F5 says, oh, what advice can you give a married couples who want to avoid relationship going stale? I asked for the day I get married. That worries me. Remember what I just told you about right now, worrying about negative shit that isn't happening? You cannot do that in life. That doesn't just go for the Dolphins, the Heat, the Marlins, the Panthers, the Inter Miami, the Canes, FIU, FAU. No. This is life. Like Derek was said, well, you're going to worry about the storm a week from now. I'll prepare for it, but I'm not going to worry. And I'm not going to, oh my God, my life is going to change because I've dealt with this all my life and they change directions all the time. And so one thing that's worse than predicting sports, that's weather. Okay. I mean, seriously, that's bad. So this is what I would tell you, Juice F5. If you love the person you're with, then you will figure things out, but you got to communicate. So in anything and everything that goes on, you must communicate what you like, what you don't like, what you want to do, what you don't want to do. So that way everybody knows where you stand. You know, it's like I have a buddy of mine that asked me, dude, what about if you have to get a divorce? I'm like, I'm not thinking about getting a divorce. Why would I think about getting a divorce? Then why am I getting married? You know what I mean? So don't think of bad times, okay? You're going to have peaks and valleys in everything in life, from work to relationships, whatever. But don't think about negative stuff when it hasn't happened. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve to put yourself through that punishment. Well, life will kick you in the ass. Wait till it kicks you in the ass, and then you take it on, and you take it on, head on. But I would not worry about that because you might just have a fantastic relationship, and you might get along all the time. And yeah, you're going to have some differences, but you'll find out that maybe you both figure it out, and you get through it. But it's impossible to predict how you're going to get out of any kind of mess because I don't know what mess you might get in. You know what I mean? So if it ever happens, which I hope it doesn't, then we'll talk at that time. You know what I mean? But just be positive about it. Don't be negative. If you love the person you're with, truly love them, it doesn't matter. You'll figure it all out. That's all. So that would be my advice. Don't bog yourself down with negativity that doesn't even exist. It's not worth it. Life is way too short to worry about that, man. Worry about what you're doing right now. Worry about what you're going to do tomorrow. Don't worry about things that don't even exist. And thank you for the love in the super chat again. And why do couples swing? Well, you're going to have to ask swinging couples, dude. You know what I'm saying? I get my only guess for swinging couples is that you're not getting what you want in your relationship. That's the only thing. Sexually, obviously. Because if you're swinging and you're still together, then you both must be comfortable with each other, but sexually you must need something else. That's the only thing I can think of. You know what I'm saying? And again, to each his own. I mean, I'm not going to pick on a couple that swings. That's not our forte, my wife and mine. But yeah, no, I would imagine that. I guess you need more. I guess you're not getting enough in your own bedroom, and I guess that's possible too. You know what I mean? I can't pick on something like that when I have no idea of what goes on in those kind of relationships. Doug making an appearance. Wow, that's awesome. Yes, he is. He is fantastic. Juan, in life, you make choices and move forward. Can't be second guessing or thinking of bad things happening. Amen to that, Juan. Marcelo Cambises. Thank you, sir, for the love in the super chat. He says, Big O, Kyle Brandt from NFL Network said Sunday the euphoria is over. Bills blowout, 38-13. What do you think? I think Kyle Brandt is an entertaining guy that does a lot of shit for shock value. So I don't really look at Kyle Brandt and I watch him for football knowledge. Get my drift? It's the same thing with Colin Cowherd and Skip Bayless. I don't watch those people at all, but the main reason why is because I know they're just clickbait artists. They're an insult to our profession, actually, to be quite honest. And God bless them, they're making a ton of money being trolls because that's really what they are. I don't learn anything from any of those guys. That's why I don't watch them ever. Because I saw what their shtick is all about, and they're just there to troll and get a rise out of you, and so is Kyle Brandt. Kyle Brandt is a guy that's just going to, Peter Schrager, he knows his stuff. I may agree or disagree with the receiver, the former receiver. God, what's his name from the Vikings? I like him. He does a good job. I could agree or disagree with him. You know who I'm talking about? The receiver from the Vikings that's on the NFL Network. He wears the glasses. Yeah, Nate Burleson. Yes. Yes. Nice job. Yes, Nate Burleson. There you go, Jason. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate you. Yeah, so there's some guys there that I can watch and I like, and I can learn something from them. They can give me an angle that I wasn't thinking. But when I know you're a heat-seeking troll, I see it, dude. I've been doing this for a long time, and I don't do things for shock value. I may shock you when I tell you that you've got to trade Huberdeau for a star. I may shock you and tell you that you've got to fire Dale Talon before anybody has the balls to say it. I may shock you and tell you that Brian Flores is going to get fired. I may shock you and tell you they should hire Chris Greer and fire Tannenbaum and Gase. But I shock you by telling you that Tannehill will never be a franchise quarterback because it's what I believe. And funny how when I shock you, guess what happens? The reality hits because I'm not doing it to troll. I'm not doing it to get a rise out of you. I'm doing it because it's what I believe, what my eyes see, because I actually watch the games. You know what I mean? I don't believe people like Kyle Brandt and Skip Bayless and Colin Cowherd. I don't believe they really watch the games. Okay? And I'm talking about games. They may watch a game, they don't watch games. And that's the difference with me and a ton of other hosts. No, I saw the Panther game. No, I watched the Dolphins game. No, I watched the Canes game. I watched Monday night. No, I watched Thursday night. I watched this. I watched that. I watched that boxing match. Yes, I watched that. That's the difference. I'm the guy that gets home from the concert and then I go back to watch the game. Go to sleep late. Bags are there to prove it, but I'm watching it. That's the difference. We have way too many people that are just trolling. That's what they do. Hour number 2 of the program, live from the KSDT-CPA offices in Dadeland, will begin in just a second, and Joe Shad will join us in hour number 2 at 11:30. Get your fantasy football questions ready. Scott Pianowski with our Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone at noon. Send them in to our text line at 855-912-1056. Send your fantasy questions in there, and I'll ask them at noon. If you put it on the chat board, man, there's hundreds of people on the chat board. It'll get lost, and then I've got to scroll and try to find them. You can put them in, and maybe I'll find some while I'm talking with him. But to make it easier for me and your better shot to get your fantasy question in, send it in on the Welton Rayom text line, please, at 855-912-1056. And by the way, I got to thank again the law offices of Welton Rayom. They brought Progressive to their effing knees. And thank you for crushing the insurance company that was insulting us. I appreciate you, Welton Rayom. Thank you for protecting us. And you better call them if they're trying to give you the runaround. Hour number 2 is next.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Why is it that you get locked out in the worst moments of your life?
Where are my car keys? Man, I can't find my house keys.
In those frustrating moments, you need a locksmith you can count on. A. Lenny Locksmith in South Florida, from Miami to Port St. Lucie. In Central Florida, A. Lenny locks it down in Orlando and Tampa Bay. Lockouts or lock changes for home or business, car key replacements, and programming all model cars. 24-hour service. Call them at 855-869-5625. Go to the website at alennylocksmith.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them.
With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation.
Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house!
Get out of the house! Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Good morning. Hey, Siri,
Who's the best team in the NFL?
So far, the Dolphins are in first place in the NFL with a record of 2-0.
When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. There we are, hour number 2 of the program. And we thank Siri for the love. Remember, send in your fantasy questions to our Welt and Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. It's 855-912-1056, the law office that crushes the insurance companies. Let's see. The envy of the rest of the country has Miami is real. They're wearing sweaters in some places already while I watch the games on my boat on a sandbar. I have no pity for any of them. Miami always. What? No. What happened?
During the prime pregame, what's his name? The big offensive lineman, Whitworth.
Oh, yeah, Whitworth, yeah.
Whitworth went in the dog pound. And when he was in the dog pound, there was somebody right there with a Dolphins sweater. I mean, it had the new logo, but it was a Dolphin sweater.
Nice.
Right there in the front with the dog pound.
In the dog pound.
Yep.
Nice. Yep. Nice. Yeah. Listen, I've always said this. Kiss my ass. We got a great fan base. We got an awesome fan base. Awesome fan base. And they're all over the world. I know, because I deal with them all the time. And they hit me from everywhere, all over the place. We got a fantastic fan base, and they travel like crazy. I love our fan base. And once you become, I think, a Dolphin player and even a fan, and if you connect with people, you'll find out. You'll go, wow, man, I didn't realize that, because I get it. We're not Green Bay. I get that. We're a different type of vibe. But that doesn't mean we don't have great fans. We have great fans, man. And they're really loyal. Let's see. Awesome morning, Big O. If our defense can slow the Buffaloes, we have an awesome chance to win. Go Tua and Dolphins. I agree. Big O, you know which uniform we are wearing Sunday? I have no idea, sir, but I would imagine you'd want to go all whites, right? At 1 o'clock, sun, I'd go all whites. That's what I do. I'd make Buffalo wear all dark. I'll make them absorb the heat. You reflect it. That's what I would do. But that's just me. All whites, baby. I can assure you Buffalo's going to be wearing the dark blues. Of course. They have to. Miami has to wear the whites. Sneak over to the Big O Cuts channel. Hit the like button. Yes. Yeah. Hit the like button everywhere. Here, Cuts channel. Subscribe to the Cuts channel. Subscribe here. All of that, please. That helps us immensely. Pat in Nashville says, the last time the Finns beat the Bills, December 2nd, 2018, I was in Florida for a business meeting. This Sunday, in Florida for a business meeting. I'll be at the game this time. Finns up. So, Pat in Nashville. Okay, dude. First of all, thank you for the super chat. Okay, we love you for the super chat. Thank you. It's very nice of you. And remember, you can also make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show is our address. That's Cash Big O Show. We get the whole donation there. Well, Pat, brother, you screwed yourself. Yeah, because if you're in a business meeting and you're at the stadium and they win, and this is the last time it happened, you weren't at the stadium, but you were at a business meeting and in town, right? Or whatever, right? It was last time beat the Bills, 2018. I was in Florida for a business meeting. Okay, so, dude, you have to now do that every time this game rolls around. So if they win, there has to be like a GoFundMe account every year now to bring Pat in Nashville to Florida for the game. I mean, it's automatic. And by the way, Pat, when I go visit Western Carolina, maybe we'll have a beer. I'm going to go next summer. I'm going to go over to what should I call it? I should call it an expedition of Western North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee. Yeah. Be kind of a little expedition, exploration, trying to see where you can plant a flag. Mark Popleka says, Big O, it's my 32nd wedding anniversary today. We need a Dolphins win for that. Happy anniversary, my brother. 32. That is awesome, man. Proud of you. That's fantastic. And I hope they win for all of us, not just you, but every Dolphin fan across the world, man. Everybody needs it. Is it true that Micah Hyde is out for this game? There's a good chance that he's out. Poyer may play. The corners are out, and Micah probably is out. You may want to listen to our interview with Jay Skursky yesterday from the Buffalo News. He was really good, and you may want to listen to that. And you'll be interested in his prediction, too, also. So you want to do that. Did you guys watch the Kurt Warner video? Kurt broke it down, and I love Kurt Warner because he's on with us on the Two and On bandwagon, and he's a quarterback. And it's funny because remember we were talking about that pass last week with Poupart that I was not this. It was early in the week, right? It was on Monday. Yeah, Monday when I brought him on. And we were recapping the game, and I showed him that pass that Tua made in between four people and how impressed he was with it. So Warner breaks down all of Tua's, game, and he pointed out on, all the things that he's doing, how he's manipulating safeties, all the kind of things that you want a franchise quarterback to do, okay? And I'm watching that tape, and it's pretty cool because obviously you're getting it from a perspective of a quarterback. And I also sent that cut to Poupart, and Poupart's like, yeah, no, I need to see the quarterback's view before I give Tua any credit for that pass. And I'm like, dude, Kurt Warner's giving him credit. It's, he's a quarterback. He's done this before at this level. And he was explaining on that cut how it's actually two windows, which I didn't realize that until he broke it down, that the route had two different windows that Tyreek was going through, and you either could connect on the first one or you have to wait to connect to the second one. And it's a millisecond because, as fast as Tyreek is, he's into that second window shortly, and then you have to then hit him, and he did. And again, I was super impressed with it because I thought it was a great pass, but it was actually even better after you watch Kurt Warner break it down. Then Kurt Warner, in the middle of all of that whole mess, I want you guys to watch it if you get a chance. The latest Kurt Warner video that came out with on Tua's game against the Ravens. He had a statement in there that was groundbreaking, shell-shocking, eye-opening, informative, all those kind of adjectives that you can use, and people need to use it, need to learn. He said 90% of the game is played under 30 yards, which is true, by the way. And again, Tua could throw the deep ball. That's not the problem. It's not something you're doing 30% of the time, 80% of the time, 60% of the time. It's something you're doing in the single digits. It's rare. It's not something that happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? So in your game, it may happen once or twice out of all your passes. It's a super low percentage. You know what I'm saying? And he can hit those. That's not a problem. But my point is, when he says 90% of the game is played inside the 30 yards, that's deadly if you're facing accurate quarterbacks. It's not just a Tua thing. It's a Breeze thing, it's a Montana thing, it's an Aaron Rodgers thing, it's whoever, any quarterback that you know that is accurate, deadly. That's a killer ass number. 90% of the game is played inside 30 yards. When Kurt Warner said that, I was like, holy shit. And that's something you need to know because we can talk about it, but then when you hear a quarterback talk about it, because he knows the stats. He plays the game, he covers the game, he talks to quarterbacks, he talks to coordinators. He stays on top of it. 90% of the game is played inside 30 yards. And you have a deadly quarterback. So for those of you that didn't see that piece on Kurt Warner breaking everything down with Tua, you should watch it. You should watch it. It's educational. It shows you the passing tree that McDaniel uses, how he spreads out guys, what responsibilities Tua has in these routes, what he is seeing, what normally happens in these kind of routes and these kind of coverages. It's so informative. It's so educational. And then at the same time, it's also really satisfactory because you're watching Tua play some really, really good football right now. And he's scratching the surface, ladies and gentlemen. He's scratching the surface right now. That's what also people don't understand what's going on with Tua right now. He is scratching the surface. This is a new offense to him. This is a new offensive coordinator. And they're only 2 games in. So you got a guy that believes in you. You got a guy that trusts you. 4th and 7, he trusts you. Down by 21, he trusts you. I mean, and if you watch the film again, you go back to what I told you before about Kurt Warner, you watch that film and you see him thread into some difficult situations. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. But that's the thing, that Tua is now scratching the surface. When he gets to know the offense completely, when he gets to know the tendencies of Mike McDaniel, when he gets to understand all of the defenses he's facing, when he gets to know all of the defensive coordinators he's facing and their tendencies, lordy, Tua will take another step forward. That's part of the growth of a quarterback. It's part of learning the game speed, adjusting to play at the game speed, then learning who you're facing week in and week out, and knowing the tendencies of the corners and the safeties you're playing, knowing the tendencies of the defensive coordinators that you're playing and facing. And as you keep facing them over and over and over again, you will undoubtedly think like them. And then as things develop in the middle of a game, it will then come to you as muscle memory because you have faced the Bills so many times that now you know what they're going to do to you. You know how they're going to attack you. Not going to be easy, but it's nice to know what's coming. Not when you're in your first year and you're not trusted, you're not the starter, the other guy's a starter, the offensive coordinator is really comfortable with the other guy, not you. And then the second year, the guy's gone. Now you've got a jumbled mash of offensive coordinators. No, dude. Now you've got a Mike McDaniel who knows all the defensive coordinators. He knows them all. So now he'll sit there with Tua and he'll educate him. And look, he likes to do this, that. And this play, they have a tendency of doing this, that. And he's going to just educate that young man. And that's what I was telling you last year, that when you don't have an experienced offensive coordinator, one, he's not going to know himself how to set things up every week. But then how do you pass that knowledge on to your player to make them better on the field? Mike McDaniel will be able to do that. Tua is just scratching the surface. There's a lot to this game, and he's got to be fed it piecemeal, not all at once. And unfortunately, the experiences all don't come at once. So he will have to go along the way and learn, but you have to try to have success while you're having while you're learning along the way so you can convince people that you're the guy and that you're the guy for the future. If you don't have success and you don't show growth, it becomes a problem. That's not the case for Tua. But I want you to remember, he is just scratching the surface. There's a lot of other things to learn, and he finally has the teacher. Okay? He has the Jedi Knight now that the Padawan can actually learn the right way. Okay? Last year, it was Vader was trying to teach him. Yeah, you can't do that, bro. Flow Sith. Yeah, that don't fly. No flow Sith. All right? Obi McDaniel Kenobi is the one that has got to teach him. Okay? Obi McDaniel Kenobi. 855-912-1056 if you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line. That's 855-912-1056 on the Welt and Rayom text line. Let me tell you a little bit about Nature B, because they've got 27 vitamins and amino acids, 28 minerals, and powerful antioxidants. I take it every single night before I go to sleep. And, of course, that helps boost my immune system. Or when I sleep overnight, it's getting into my system, boom, and it's potentiated, which, what is that, you say? Well, what they do is they kind of crack open the cells. And that way, when you ingest it, it goes right into your system right away. It's a beautiful thing. And what I love about Nature B, compared to other vitamins or medicines or anything you take that's in a capsule, why don't you do this? Why don't you bust open that capsule and pour that powder directly into your mouth? What are you going to do? Ooh, yeah, remember that bitter beer face? That's exactly what's going to happen to you. Keystone, right? That was the name, bitter beer face? That you would have a bitter beer face with that, right? Well, Nature B, plant pollen is all natural, Mother Nature. The good Lord placed us here on earth, and he also created flowers and plants and trees and fruits and vegetables that you really didn't need to create anything. You didn't really need to create other types of foods. You just had to eat right from the soil, and you could live just fine. That's what plant pollen is, man. Straight from Mother Nature, from clean, green New Zealand. And that's why it's great for the kids. It's great for the adults. It's great for everybody because it's all natural, man. It'll boost the immune system. It'll give you the energy you need, stronger nails, fuller hair. Oh, there's so many benefits. So go to natureb.com, use our code BIGO. You buy 2 months, you get the third month for free and free shipping. How about that? Buy 2 months, third month for free and free shipping. Use the code BIGO, natureb.com. The Dolphins holding their own and competing with the Bills is growth. A W would be amazing, but it's about the team getting better. Amen. A freaking men. And, by the way, the line went down to 5. It's going 6.5, 6, 5.5, 5. Man. I took it at 6.5 2 days ago.
I think that's showing that the Bills, the ones that are injured, probably aren't playing.
Yeah, there's money coming in on the Dolphins, dude. It's moving the line, man. And the injuries for sure. Dougie Fresh says, staying with your Star Wars reference, Chris Wilkins is definitely Chewbacca ripping arms off. Yeah. Yes. It's not smart to make the Wookiee mad, right? Or piss off the Wookiee or whatever, Nobody ever worries if a droid gets mad. Well, droids don't tear people's arms out, right? Isn't that the line that Han Solo says? Point taken. R2, let the Wookiee win. Oh, yeah. I'm a Star Wars geek. This is the best chance the Finns have in beating the Bills with all those defensive players out. Amen? That's right. They got a shot. But you got to take advantage of it. Morning, what's the best Dolphins bar in Fort Lauderdale? Um, I mean, there's a lot of great bars, man. You can go to a sports grill. They're in Broward. Bo Camper's in Broward. Um, American Social's only in Dade, right? Or do they have an American Social in Broward? There is? Oh, in Las Olas? American Social's always a great bar. It's America's what? Oh, America's Backyard? No, that's on Broward Boulevard. Yeah, but that's on Broward Boulevard, not on Las Olas. I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's in Himmershey, isn't it? Like by Himmershey. Is that area that's called Himmershey? Yeah. By the way, the Himmershey area, that's where you should go in Fort Lauderdale. That's a great place, Himmershey. It's got all kinds of bars and restaurants. It's got a great vibe. A lot of people hang out. So go to Fort Lauderdale and go to Himmershey's. It's right behind the Revolution Live. And that's a nice little strip area right off of Las Olas, because Las Olas is on the other side of the bridge from Himmershey, right? And I'm telling you, that's a really cool vibe to hang out. But yeah, sports grill, bow campers, all that. There's all kinds of terrific bars, man. We've got a lot of great sports bars. Hey, Quarter Deck, that's a really good place too. I mean, just because they're not advertising with us, I'm not going to be dissing other sports bars. You know what I mean? Duffy's, that's another one. They do a terrific job. We got a lot of good sports bars in this town. If you really think about it, there's a lot of good places to go and enjoy some sports, man. Let's see. Well, it is time. It is that time. It's that time to talk to the one and only Joe Shad. Let's see what kind of hijinks Joe Shad is involved in, because you know Joe Shad, he's always involved in all kinds of hijinks. So let's get a Miami Dolphins report with our hijinks sportsgrill.com Miami Dolphins report.
Dolphins fans, it's time to talk to the man with incredibly high standards. It's not easy to score an A or grade 10 out of 10 with this guy. In fact, he isn't impressed with Joey Chestnut's dominance, Usain Bolt's speed, or even Evan Ginkel's locks. Will the hijinks continue? Can the Miami Dolphins do the impossible by getting a passing grade with Joe Shad? It's time for the Hijinks Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report. This report is brought to you by Hijinks Sports Grill in Boca at 133 Southeast Meisner Boulevard. Enjoy happy hour 4 to 7 p.m. Reserve a VIP table online and receive one free sparkling wine. Follow them on Instagram at Hijinks Sports Grill. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Joe Shad.
All righty, there he is, always involved in some kind of hijinks. He is Joe Shad. Joe, how you doing, baby? How you feeling?
What's up, buddy? I'm doing well. Thanks for having me today.
Love having you as always, my brother. And of course, we thank the great people at Hijinks Sports Grill, proud sponsors of our segment with Joe Shad. We tweeted out yesterday a picture from the lovely ladies over
and
at.
I retweeted it.
I know. I saw that. You should.
People were confused. They said, "Oh, that's the Dolphins cheerleaders. That's not the waitresses." No, those are in fact the servers.
Exactly. Those are the servers, and they happen to also be Dolphins cheerleaders too at the same time. You know, it was a lot of beauty that was involved in that shot there at Hijinks Sports Grill. So
I need to get over there. I'm still trying to get a ride. I'm still waiting on Adam Beasley. If you're out there, Safed Dean, David Furonis. I know that some of those folks are at the Mike McDaniel press conference in Miami Gardens, which is about to start. But you know, Miami Gardens is east, right? East enough. They can just jump on. You can jump on, 95 or the Turnpike or something, and scoot up here.
Furonis,
pick me up.
Furonis will do it. Safed will do it. I told you already. Don't count on Beasley. I already told you that. You cannot count on Beasley, bro. Okay, so you got to go with the other guys, or me and Sean, of course. You can always count on us. Plus, you've got to take us to Hijinks after you've bragged so much about their wings and all that stuff. We got to go try it, bro. I mean,
Yeah,
We
the
got
sriracha wings with the onions. You got to get them.
all right, there you go. So we gotta figure it out. All right. Joe, Buffalo Bills players are falling down left and right. And the line is coming down. It was started at 6.5. It's down to 5 now. That Buffalo is favored. So people are starting to get on the Dolphins bandwagon right now. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's interesting. The line is all over the place. Started at 4, 4.5, 5, all the way up to 6. Then after the injury news came down, it started to bump down 5.5. You can even find 5, 4.5. So, it's a lot of confusion out there in the betting world about what to do. The betting world really liked Buffalo to rout the Dolphins, but these injuries are going to be a factor. Just moments ago, McDermott, the Bills coach, announcing that they will be without star safety Micah Hyde. They'll be without their third corner, Dane Jackson, and they'll be without former Dolphin defensive tackle Jordan Phillips. These are key injuries.
Yep.
And also, safety Jordan Poyer is questionable. Now, you might remember the Bills in a recent game decided to shelve a lot of their players when they didn't need to necessarily beat the Dolphins, and the Dolphins still got their butts kicked. So certainly nobody is suggesting this is now a slam dunk.
No,
but
not even
these
close.
injuries have to be a factor. Mike McDaniel, very smart guy. Maybe he finds out a way to exploit a couple of rookie Bills corners and a couple of safeties who are either banged up or not quite as good as the Pro Bowlers.
It's funny because nobody talks that Miami's missing their own starting corner, right? It's like, they're 2-0. They're just fine. Byron Jones. Oh, who's that? And so that's kind of, it's funny because Miami's also playing without one of their top players in their secondary, and nobody mentions that. And that is an issue for them. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Buff, yeah, you're right. And it's especially an issue this week and next week.
Yeah.
Xavier Howard says he's fine despite a little bit of a groin injury. He has had a little bit of a trouble chasing Stephon Diggs on the crossing routes in past matchups. Dolphins have gotten killed on that. And Nick Needham telling reporters able to attend this week in Miami Gardens that he needs to be better, that he's having a little bit of an adjustment, having focused almost exclusively on the slot, and now being asked to play some more outside corner. And Gabe Davis, formerly known as Gabriel Davis, the Bills' fast receiver, he says he's returning from injury. So, I think I was wrong about the Bills, the Ravens Dolphins game. I thought it would be low scoring. It ended up high scoring. I guess that's the nature of the NFL now. And certainly we expect to see points in this game on Sunday. So maybe I'll be wrong again.
Yes. Are you liking the Dolphins' chances in this one?
Well, you have to think that the Bills are still the favorite to win this particular ball game. I mean, they've dominated the series in recent years until the Dolphins show that they can slow Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, and that they can perform better against a mobile quarterback than they did last week against Lamar Jackson. It's just hard to imagine how they're going to slow down the Bills' offense. So the question then becomes, all right, is this now a team that can outscore people? And certainly encouraging signs. Dolphins have all kinds of weapons on offense, and that makes things exciting. That means that you feel like, hey, the Bills, I believe they've scored a touchdown on their first drive in 7 straight games. That's just a ridiculous statistic. So even if the Dolphins fall behind 7-0, 14-0, you still think they got a shot, and so that's a change of pace, a nice change of pace.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. We look at the way they're going to attack Tua. Are you expecting them to try to send the house and try to disrupt him? Because to me, that's probably the only way you're going to really be able to slow that offense down. If you give Tua any time with that speed out there, I don't know how you really. I just think Miami will end up finding ways to score points and get yards, a lot of yards on you. And so how do you expect them to attack Tua?
Well, this is interesting. Out of Dolphins camp, head coach Mike McDaniel saying Teron Armstead's status is, quote, up in the air. I don't think he knows yet if he will play. That is not good. You were correct. And you know what? It's hard to disagree with the notion that the Dolphins had to expect Teron Armstead was going to miss a handful of games this year. That's what has happened in recent years. So, I don't like Von Miller
You don't
going
like him?
against.
You don't
I
like
don't
him,
like
bro?
Von Miller having to go against not Teron Armstead. You know what I mean?
You're right. No, it's
So that could
very.
be a significant issue.
I can see Alec Ingold very busy on Sunday, as he's the one that's chipping on one side and helping out on the Von Miller side. So
The pendulum keeps swimming back and forth on this thing, right? You say if you're the Bills, you're thinking, all right, well, if we're without one or two corners, if we're without two corners, including our star, Tre'Davious White, by the way, no one talks about that, he's out. If you're without two corners and maybe two safeties, well, you know what? You maybe don't blitz as often, right? And then if Teron Armstead is out, well, you know what? We like our chances one-on-one. We don't need to bring extra guys. So this could be real problematic for Tua. Gosh, I hope Armstead plays.
yeah. Oh well, I mean, obviously, but I mean, this has kind of been the MO with him. He
What
can't
would you do,
stay.
though?
He can never stay healthy. He's always been, an injury prone guy, and this is part of the game. When you sign him, you know that he's going to end up missing a couple games because his body just doesn't hold up overall.
It's a toe. I mean, it's a toe. I mean, the guy played through it and played well last week. So
Yeah.
McDaniel also said he wants to wait and see for Xavier's availability. I don't believe that one. I think X is playing.
Well, if he's practicing, he should be playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, if Teron isn't practicing,
Unless it's a setback, yeah. But McDaniel said Teron doesn't need to practice to play, and I agree with that. If he's the kind of guy at this point in his career, he can play without practicing.
yeah. Did you watch the Kurt Warner video on Tua?
Yeah, I watched them all. I watched Kurt Warner. I watched Michael Vick. Mike did a nice job. I retweeted that one. You can find it at Shad Joe. Michael Vick demonstrated how in the Mike McDaniel offense, Tua is benefited by the Dolphins leading the NFL in pre-snap motion and movement and shifts, and how that allows him to get a good read of whether the defense is in man or zone. And both Kurt Warner and Michael Vick, and I have respect for anybody who's played quarterback in the NFL, yes, even Matt Hasselbeck and Chris Sims, they can explain things a little better than I can in terms of how Tua last week showed nice development in terms of how he used his eyes to manipulate the opposing safeties.
Yeah, but
And,
on
yeah.
the Chris Sims one, don't lump him with those other guys. He's a clickbait artist, bro. He's not. That idiot said that he can't throw deep and that he can't run a powerful offense or whatever. He's a moron, dude. Please
Well,
don't.
Tua
And
has
at least Kurt Warner breaks it down and gives you intelligence and shows you how Tua is actually playing the game the right way. And
Yeah, I mean, after watching those videos, I would have to strongly disagree with what Colin Cowherd said earlier this week. He didn't give Tua credit. And
why are you
I
listening
think
to
he
Colin
should've.
Cowherd, bro?
Well,
Why would you watch Colin Cowherd?
Well, I'm telling you, I disagree.
I know, but at what point does that guy have any credibility, and what proves that he knows anything about football, dude? Because he's another one of those clickbait idiots. Him, Chris Sims,
Well, he does clickbait's not the right phrase because
baseless is the other guy. All those idiots, all they want to do is get a rise out of people. They go by what their producers tell them what to do. Hey, this is hot on social media. This is what is getting a rise out of people. And sure enough, there he is, Bayless or Calturd or Sims is also turned in to that dude also. Those people aren't really analyzing things. They're just trying to get a rise out of people. That's all they do. I don't know. I mean, you could
Yeah,
watch
I
it.
mean, Sam Acho said on ESPN this morning that he believes Tua will have a better game than Josh Allen on Sunday, and Ryan Clark, of course, flipped out. And so, I don't think I have to be honest. I don't in today's media world. I don't think that that's entirely unique. I think this debate culture is something that I guess Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith really kind of
Right.
created the template, and it
Right.
can become annoying. It can become monotonous. But I've been in some of those meetings where you remember I worked for that company for 11 years, one of those companies, and I've been in that meeting where they say, "Who wants to argue which side?"
Right.
And
Exactly.
so
I
it's
know
kind
how
of
the
like
game is
it's
played.
kind of like the WWE.
Yeah, they tried to do that at QAM at times. One time they approached me about it and they said, "Hey, we want you to do this and you play the bad guy." And I'm like, "No, I'm not going to do it because that's not what I believe. So I'm not doing that." And so, "Oh, you don't want to just take the side just for the?" No, I don't do that. When I tell you something, it's because I believe in it. So no, I'm not. I don't do those kind of things. I've never done that. I'll shock you, but I'll shock you with the truth. I'll shock you and I'll tell you the Flores is going to get fired in a winning streak. And I'll shock you and I'll tell you you better fire Dale Talon because I have the balls to say it before anybody else. But that doesn't mean that I'm doing things for just shock value of it. No, I do it because I believe in it. It might be shocking to you at the moment, but then as time goes on, you're going to go, whoa, well, I guess he was right. It wasn't really a shock. It's what he believed in. And it's the same thing with Tua. As I've told you and many other people, he's Joe Montana, he's Drew Brees, he's Fran Tarkenton, he's those same dudes, bro. And that's the problem in the end. That's the problem with a lot of people that cover the league and fantasy football and all this shit. We have no patience, and then we somehow morph into we think a quarterback only is 6'5" and can throw the ball 90 yards, and that makes him a great quarterback. And that's why people freak out when I say Tua is a better quarterback than Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's a better talent, not a better quarterback, because Tua has been proven it since college that he's the better quarterback, not the better talent. I know that. Vince Young is more talented than Tua ever was. That doesn't mean he's a better quarterback. And that's the problem I think we have in our society, understanding what a quarterback is and what a freakish talent is.
What's the question?
What do you think?
What do I think about talent versus production and
No, quarterback. No. The
I don't
difference
know. I mean,
between a
well, yeah,
talent
I mean,
and a quarterback.
listen, when you look at Tom Brady, let's think about Tom Brady. Who's the GOAT, right? Tom Brady is the GOAT.
Mhm.
And it is true that Tom Brady largely succeeded and was a champion time and time again by focusing on short and intermediate passes. So
Joe
he has
Montana.
proven,
He
yeah,
took over the other GOAT that also did short and intermediate passes, Joe Montana.
Yeah. Now, I'm not comparing Tua to Tom Brady because Tua will have to show tremendous growth and development in lots of areas. How to read defenses, how to prepare for the opponent, how to understand everything that's coming at him, and he's shown some growth and it's very encouraging. But yeah, in terms of not having to necessarily, I mean, look, Kyle Bowler, we all know Jamarcus Russell, right? We know that,
Dude, I
you
watched
know,
Kyle Bowler on his knees at
mhm.
the Senior Bowl throw
Well,
the ball through the
you might
goalpost.
want to you might want to rephrase that there, Big O.
Seriously, no, he was on his knees in the Senior Bowl at the 50-yard line. I know what it sounds like, but he threw the ball right through the goalpost, and from that, it made him a first rounder. And that's my point. And there's lots of people. Ryan Leaf was Jeff George is one of the 5 greatest arms I have ever seen in my life. Do I want him in a key moment? No, because he's going to pee in his pants.
Now
I
I
don't
know,
care how
I
talented he
know,
was.
but I do think that I was wrong on Justin Herbert. I do think that is this guy is he's going to go to a lot of Pro Bowls, and I think that this guy is going to win a lot of playoff games. And the same about Josh Allen. And it's interesting that Josh says, I give credit to Tua because I also dealt with skepticism and naysayers, and it's for different reasons. That is an interesting thing, right? So everyone thought that Josh Allen was very inaccurate, and he proved that you could improve your accuracy, which most quarterback coaches and offensive coordinators will tell you can't. You either have that or you don't.
I'm actually believing
yeah,
this with Josh Allen. He never had
yeah,
proper coaching, and he was
coaching. Okay.
he was in crappy environments, Wyoming,
Did,
and
yeah.
so apparently his high school also was crappy too. And so I think that he didn't get coaching until he got to the NFL, and that's why he looked like a disaster when we saw him at the Senior Bowl. When you watched him at Wyoming, and you saw the lowlights, not the highlights at Wyoming, and he had such crappy talent around him and probably not great coaching. And you look at Steve Young in Tampa, but you look at him at the LA Express and you look at him with the Niners, and he's a completely different player. You look at Tua now with McDaniel compared to the mess from last year, and it's two different players. Environments change everything, and I'm starting to believe that we were just fooled with Josh Allen. He was so raw still that he really never got a proper chance to really showcase his skills. And luckily for Buffalo, they saw what most people didn't, and they thought they could polish up that coal into a diamond. And
Right.
brother, they did it.
Well,
Because I've never seen that ever again. The guy that's inaccurate never becomes accurate. This is
now
this is the one time.
Justin Herbert is a much better player in the NFL than he was in college. Now, you and I both would like to see the University of Miami football program flourish. I'm
Mhm.
sure we're both happy to see Mario Cristobal, return. It was shocking to me that he would leave Oregon to come back home. But there are some who wonder why Justin Herbert did not have more success in college
Environment.
playing for Mario Cristobal.
Environment. Did you watch him this week? This week against Texas A&M, your offense can't score. You can't get past. You can't get into the red. You're finally in the red zone, 3rd and 6 on the goal line, and you hand it off. You didn't give it to Tyler Van Dyke, brother. I'm living it.
You're not a fan of the Cristobal Canes offense right now.
No, I'm a fan of Cristobal. I'm not a fan of being conservative. I
Right.
believe in today's football, college or the NFL. If you're conservative, you die, and you will not end up winning. Bless him, rest in peace. But part of Sperano's problem was he would settle for 3 points, and you can't settle in college, and you can't settle in the NFL for 3. You've got to do everything you can to get 7. And I thought this week he showed a little conservativeness in that decision. And I know that he was conservative at Oregon because, dude, I know Justin Herbert at Oregon for more running than passing. And that's where the things that, maybe he knows that Justin isn't great in the clutch or something or whatever. I don't know, because in a very short time in his career here, he's got 4 fourth quarter pick sixes, all losses. And when he's been put in those kind of positions in a very short career, he has not lived up to those moments. Last year, he missed the playoffs because he lost against Houston. He had a chance to cut it to 1 score, and he throws a pick 6, and the game's over. So I don't know what to think of Justin Herbert. I know he's a freak talent, so was Jeff George, but is he clutch? Because Jeff George wasn't. You know what I mean?
You can't compare Jeff George to Justin Herbert. I mean,
no, I know I can't.
Justin Herbert has already proven to be a far more successful NFL player than Jeff George ever was.
What? What did you just say?
Justin Herbert has already proven.
Do you know Jeff George's stats? He's got stats.
My recollections, yeah, I mean, my recollections of Jeff George are not good.
Because he's a choker.
Yeah. Right.
Because he's a choker is why that's my point. That's exactly my point with Jeff George. That's why your recollection is not good, but the loser actually put up a bunch of really good stats.
Yeah, I mean, 58% completions.
You're looking it up now?
Yeah, I mean, he threw 113 picks. I don't know.
No, I know, but how many touchdowns did he throw?
Yeah, I mean 154. That's not a great ratio. 154 to 113. He's
I
kind of
get
like a pitcher who strikes a lot of guys out, but you can't stand him because he's constantly walking people.
I
It's
know.
kind of Jameis Winston like. I mean, he threw
But
for
he
4,000 yards one year
yeah,
and 3,900 another year.
3,700 another year. I'm looking at it right now.
But
And
you're right. You know, 2
and
and
by the
9,
way,
7
the
and
year he
9,
threw
0 and
the
3,
3 year the
4
year
and
he threw
12.
the year he threw 3,900, it was 29 and 9. The touchdowns and interception ratio on that
Right.
one. But
Here's the thing.
and for him, that's great. For him, that was fantastic.
Jeff George, 46 and 78
Yeah.
career record. Now, here's the thing. There's zero chance that Justin Herbert finishes his NFL career with a sub 500 win-loss record. No way. It's never going to happen. I would bet
He's already 500. He's already 500.
Well, I'm telling you, I would bet my left arm that this guy is not going to finish his career in a Jeff George-like fashion.
Okay.
No way.
All right. I'm just saying, he's already under 500. So
I shouldn't bet my left arm. I'm already without a left arm.
I don't know if I'm you, I would bet, because he has not proven anything clutch at any point in his career. The gene, see, you saw the clutch gene with Tua already. It's there. It's been there. You saw it at Alabama. Okay, so he's done it at the highest level in college. At the NFL level, he hasn't had half the talent that Justin Herbert has in the first 2 years. Now he has the talent. Now we're going to really compare to see how things are working out between those two guys when it comes to stats. I'm going to be really interested to see Tua's stats and Justin Herbert's stats, and then Tua's wins and losses compared to Tua's wins and losses, because now we're more an even level playing field. And when we weren't at an even level playing field, Tua outplayed him, wins and beat him.
Okay, so one thing Tua has done that we want to make sure to give him credit for is he has put up really good statistics in the fourth quarter early in his career. Now, it is true that this was only Tua's third come-from-behind victory led. But, I think that there's a good chance, a much better chance, that we'll see a few more of those come from behind victories this year. I think he's got at least a couple of more in him this year. And by the way, I wrote a really nice newsletter about Tua. Do you get the newsletter? The Dolphins Pulse newsletter?
I saw it.
I want to make sure you read it. I want folks
to
sign. It's free, all right? And I basically write a column and I email it to you on Friday morning. If you like the Dolphins, why not get it? So type in Palm Beach Post newsletters, click on Dolphins Pulse. I send you an email on Friday morning.
It seems like the flip-flopping, you wanted him early, but then you kind of got off his bandwagon, and now you're kind of getting back on the bandwagon. So it's kind of been a peaks and valley for you on your Tua train.
Well, what I addressed in the newsletter,
I saw it.
Yeah, what I addressed is the back and forth with Nick Hicks, Tua's personal trainer. And so, check that out. I think it's interesting. I try to explain to Nick about how, I don't know the phrasing I used, just about objectivity and about how we all have a role, right? Nick concedes his role is to be, in a Mike McDaniel-like way, a perpetual cheerleader, booster, and advocate for Tua Tagovailoa. As a sports journalist, that's not really my role.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah. So, and I appreciate you acknowledging that.
No, it's definitely not. Hey, listen, I'm objective and a fan, because I openly will say I root for the teams. I'm born and raised here, dude. What am I going to lie to you?
Well, I prefer the Dolphins to win, and I prefer Tua to play well.
Of course, it's a lot. Your job's a lot easier.
It's more fun. Everybody's happy. More people read the stories. They do. Yeah. People say, "Oh, you write negative stuff for clicks." Actually, that's not how it works. The most read stuff is the stuff when things are going well.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
All right. So I appreciate you recognizing that too.
I've known your ass for 20 years. You're not a clickbait artist. You'll say what you believe. And, for a little while there, you were just wrong about Tua, thinking that he can't really get it done or arm or whatever. That's
Well,
all.
as I wrote
that he's the man.
I wrote 12 or 15 columns going into the draft about how it would be a terrible mistake that the Dolphins franchise would never live down if they passed on Tua. So as I wrote in the Dolphins Pulse newsletter, available for free on the internet, I hope I actually would like to be right on that. I hope I am.
But can you answer one thing? I'll let you go with this.
Yeah.
Why did so many people have trouble understanding what I was saying the entire year last year? There's no talent and the coaching is terrible.
Well, we did.
We did.
Yeah. No.
It's
Well,
not
we did. To be fair, we did point out how bad the coaching was, how bad a decision it was by Brian Flores to go with the co-offensive coordinator disaster plan. We did point out how bad the blocking was. We did point out that the receivers were not gaining separation. So, we did point that stuff out. It wasn't as though
but nobody went to
overlooked.
Nobody went to my extreme, like, stop blaming Tua. It has nothing to do with him.
Well,
you cannot
that's
survive
where we
in this
disagreed.
environment.
That's where we disagreed. The quote that you just made, quote, nothing to do with Tua. Come on.
Yeah,
that was never fair. That was never a fair comment.
Brother,
How can you say it had nothing to do with Tua?
Because,
Tua, and I mentioned this in the Dolphins Pulse newsletter, Tua himself said that his performance in his first 2 years was not satisfactory. That's Tua.
He was not going to brag about himself, dude. Come on, bro.
Okay, so that's just humility. It's not honesty.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about Tua. He's all humility. Come on, bro. Come on.
All right, listen, if anybody out there wants to take me over to the Hijink Sports Bar and Grill for some wings, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on I can't drive, right? I'm not supposed to drive. All right, so I need a ride. So anybody
I think we should just make a GoFundMe page for you to get an Uber.
Hit me up on Twitter. Right. Shad Joe. Thanks, guys.
Shad Joe. All right, much love. Have a great weekend and feel better.
See you, buddy.
You got it. There you go. The great Joe Shad. He was right, he was wrong, and now he wants to be right again with Tua. We love it. All right, hour number 3 is starting. We await Scott Pianowski. Did you send him an invite? Okay. All right. Scott Pianowski will join us. Get your fantasy questions ready. Best thing to do, I mean, it's coming up now, so you can put them on the YouTube chat board. I don't think it'll disappear that fast. But on the Welton Rayom text line, it's so much easier to send your fantasy questions there. 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in there, por favor. Let me tell you a little bit about LinkedIn. And folks, small businesses everywhere. You need some help. You got to find the right people to build your business. LinkedIn is there for you. LinkedIn Jobs makes it nice and easy to find people you want to talk to faster and for free. We all like free, right? If it's free, I'll take 3. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs, and you can reach a network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 810 million people. Then you add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. So your network can help you find the right people to hire. Simple tools like screening questions, making it easy to focus on candidates with the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. This is why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs the #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs can help you find the candidates you want to talk to and faster. Did you know every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your jobs for free at linkedin.com/Big O. That's linkedin.com/Big O to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Hour number 3 is next.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks, eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated, they offer free 30-day storage, full-service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Good morning. Hey Siri, who's the best team in the NFL?
So far, the Dolphins are in first place in the NFL with a record of 2-0.
Comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
There we go. Hour number 3 from the beautiful offices of KSDT CPAs right here in Dadeland. Appreciate all of you joining us. We are waiting for Scott Pianowski. I just got in contact with him. He's going to be talking to us in just a second. Just give him a couple seconds here and we'll get him in there. Get your fantasy questions in right now on the Welt and Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. That's another way to reach out to us. And then, of course, reach out to us there on email too at bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. If you got any fantasy questions, post them on the YouTube chat board. That's another way to reach out to us. And hopefully we will get in contact with Mr. Pianowski now, and he can join us here in a second and get it going there. I thought for sure that he would have gotten it already on that first shot, man. Because I sent it, and so did Sean, and he has not been able to cross over and join us. While we await for Scott to join us, let me tell you a little bit about Babel. If you want to learn a second language, you maybe have tried in high school or in college, and you forgot about it like 2 months after graduation, right? Like, what was that French word I learned? What was that? Oh, God. So now with Babel, folks, the language learning app, they have sold more than 10 million subscriptions. They're addictively fun and an easy way to learn a new language. And whether you're traveling abroad, connecting in a deeper way with family, or how about maybe you want to know las chicas here in town, right? So you got some free time. Babel teaches bite-sized language lessons, that is, that you can actually use in the real world. Not the dame un lápiz. Like, come on, bro. When are you going to use that? You're going to learn real stuff here. 15-minute lesson plans, a perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babel's lessons were created by over 100 language experts, and they do it in their native languages. So you get the accent, you get it all, the pronunciation. That way you can kind of sound natural. It's a beautiful thing. And with Babel, you can choose from 14 different languages: German, Italian, French, little Espanol. Babel's speech recognition technology helps you to improve your pronunciation and your accent. That's what I was talking about. And so many ways to learn with Babel. In addition, the lessons, you can also access podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even live classes. That's cool. Did you watch Scarface? Right? Didn't he tell the people, I learned English from a James Cagney? That's the same kind of thing, man. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee, so you can't lose right there. Start your new language learning journey today with Babel. Right now, save up to 60% off your subscription. Go to babbel.com/Big O. That's babbel.com/Big O for up to 60% off your subscription. Babel, language for life. What do we got going on? What's going on? Oh, man. Oh, Lordy. Okay. Here you go. There you go. Right there in the bottom. Can't read it? Right there. You got it now? Okay. All right. Now we'll get them. All right. Great interview with Ira. Did the two of you ever work together? No, I never worked for the Sun Sentinel, but I've known Ira. This is my 33rd year that I'm completing. In January, it'll be 33 years. I've known Ira all 33 years. When I started in the business, I started in a Haitian station called WLQY. Within the first year, I was already working for Radio Acción in my second year, and that was 8:30. It was called Radio Familiar back in those days, and I was doing a Spanish sports talk show called La Ensalada Deportiva, and I would do it every night. And we had the Heat rights, the Canes, and the Dolphins rights all in Spanish, and so I would go to a lot of the Heat games, and I would do the pre and post, and that's where I met Ira. From there on, and I've known Ira ever since. So that's probably why, too. We've known each other for 3 decades, man. All right, let's get to a little fantasy football. We've got the man, the myth, the legend. It is time for the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone.
PPR, Draft, Keeper, Dynasty. It's the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Scott Pianowski. Keep up with your fantasy football teams by visiting any of the 8 great Sports Grill locations. Sports Grill, good food, good drink, good friends. Here's Scott Pianowski.
All righty. It's fantasy, baby. And you know what? There's a little extra spice for South Florida fans all over the world because usually if you're in Chicago, you're a homer, you're taking Bears players. If you're in New York, you're taking some Jets and some Giants players, even though you really shouldn't, but you're doing it anyways. Here in South Florida, Dolphin fans all over the world, well, they're going with Tyreek. They're going with Waddle, baby, right? Waddle, Hill, what a thrill. Yeah, I love it. Tua, Waddle, Hill, what a thrill. So now let's ask Mr. Pianowski. Good afternoon, sir. Is Tua Tagovailoa a number one type starter in fantasy football this week against the Bills with no Micah and no corners and maybe the best pair of wide receivers in the NFL? Good afternoon.
Well, like week 2, when Miami gets started a little bit late, I apologize for getting started a little bit late today. We had some technical difficulties. We'll make it up to you. Big O, I can answer this question by putting my money where my mouth is, okay? I'm in a bunch of leagues, but the league I want to win the most is against my hometown friends, my old buddies, and I usually make the playoffs. I won that league many years. I'm 0-2. Nobody's going to boo-hoo for me. So what did I do today? A couple days ago? I traded Justin Herbert. I traded Mike Evans, who can't help me on suspension. I got Tyreek Hill, and I got Tua.
Woo!
I'm going to throw those guys at Buffalo at their injured secondary. Oh, God, Buffalo's offense is great. Miami will have to throw to keep up. We saw last week last week the story in the NFL is that no lead was safe. The Miami comeback, the Jets comeback, the Arizona comeback. And I love the ethos of this new coaching staff. Basically, screw it. Let's go down swinging. Right? That's what they did.
Hey, we here in South Florida we say F it.
F it. Sure. I'm just trying to figure out how to handle that. Want to be a family show, of course, and also you mentioned drafting in different cities. I hope nobody in Chicago drafted any of the Bears because they're just gonna run you down into a ditch. But yeah, I'm all on board, man. I'm not just a fantasy analyst, but I am invested in the Miami passing game on the team that matters to me the most. Let's go. Wheels up, fins up.
I love it. And by the way, Tyreek is normally a Bills killer as it is. So they probably hated the fact that Miami signed him. But now that Tua and him are in a groove, that should be a deadly combination right now. And you and I know the Bills are going to probably send the house to try to disrupt this whole thing.
Yeah, which means if you hit Waddle or Tua on a slant, that can be a 75-yard touchdown. I love. You know what else I love? Jalen Waddle, 16 yards a catch. Because last year it was, and they're still throwing a lot of bubble screens and a lot of quick hitters. I mean, it's not like everything is downfield, but at least they're making more chunk plays. He had the profile coming out of Alabama as a guy who could run the entire route tree, but they didn't have all the pieces to really run the offense that best suited Waddle. Look, the guy caught 106 balls. He was great, but they didn't have an offense that really made sense completely. They've added. The bottom line is this: when you have speed and you can threaten the entire field, which Miami can do right now. And they're doing it with 2 guys. I mean, God help the league if they get Gesicki going or if Cedric Wilson maybe steps up. But right now, I believe the stat is 59% of their targets are going to their 2 guys. And look, the way it's working, why not? I mean, you beat Bill Belichick in week 1. You scalp the Ravens and Jim Harbaugh in week 2. 2 of the best coaches in John Harbaugh, I should say.
I don't know if there's 2 corners that are going to be able to stay with those guys stride for stride. I don't think it's humanly. It's not the corners' faults that they're facing. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes people. I know Noah Igbenogany has never made an impact yet, but they always go back to Stephon Diggs the first year as a rookie, and it's like, dude. It's Stephon Diggs. He burns everybody. Can you imagine a rookie that is learning how to play cornerback? I mean, Noah was a receiver 2 years before he played Stephon Diggs. That guy's trying to learn how to play against Stephon. Impossible. And when I look at Tyreek and Waddle, I almost think it's unfair that you have to try to cover those guys and stay with them.
For sure. I mean, remember the late, great Al Davis. What did he like more than anything other than winning, I guess, was team speed. Yep. That was the thing that he was obsessed with. And look around the NFL, right? Who are the rookies who are taking the league by storm? They're wide receivers. They're Garrett Wilson, who looked fantastic last week. Drake London. They don't know what to do with Kyle Pitts in Atlanta, but Drake London has been great right away. Traylon Burks is one of the few things that's working right now in Tennessee. Dotson has scored both of his weeks. Olave had a ridiculous amount of air yards. Unfortunately, with Jameis Winston, they turn into prayer yards sometimes. But I mean, Olave is going to be heard from, another first-round pick. It used to be, Big O, we've been playing fantasy a long time. It used to be come back to these receivers in year 3, right? Don't touch them as rookies. That changed in 2014, the Beckham year, the Watkins year, the Mike Evans year, and then eventually Devontae Adams, who wasn't great that year, became the best of the group. Now, rookie receivers can be impactful players. And this year, it's a great crop of them. We saw last year with Waddle, he was good right away. And Miami, very modern approach, right? I mean, look, I think eventually they've got the ground game going. I know Evans has been a little bit disappointing. Mostert got in on the fun last week, who's a good player. I hope he can stay healthy. But the NFL is about passing, and it's about threatening the opponents downfield, right? How did Randy Moss change defense in the NFL? He made you defend to avoid an 80-yard touchdown on every play, because that's what Randy Moss was threatening to do to you. And Miami has 2 of these guys now. And again, they're steering into them. If they were throwing these 2 guys on the field and giving them 7 targets a week, it wouldn't make any sense. They're saying, no, you know what? Let's throw to them almost every friggin' play. Good luck trying to defend it. I think it's awesome. I cannot wait for this game. This is the game of the week, and that's a big statement when Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are playing. But the game I'm going to have on my main set is going to be Buffalo-Miami.
All right, send them the questions. Lightning quick. We're going to get some answers for you since we started a little late here on the Welton Rayom text line 855-912-1056 or on the YouTube chat board right now. Send them in. We start pick 2, CEH, Devontae Smith or Michael Carter. Tony wants to know.
Yeah, I think Carter's the low man on the totem pole. CEH has actually been surprisingly useful in Kansas City. It's funny because Mahomes has like 7 touchdown passes, but the only other players who are really doing much for Kansas City are CEH and Kelsey. So I think he's in the circle of trust. And the Jets are going to have a timeshare in the backfield. Hall did some things last week. They're not favored, of course. They're like 6-point underdogs against Cincinnati. So it's hard for me to start Carter with confidence. Smith, 2 games. 1 game he did nothing, but although he cleared out for everybody else, but he got back in form on Monday night. I can play Devonta Smith too.
All right. Need some help here. Akers, Dobbins, or Mostert as my running back 2. Pick 1. Akers has been screwing me.
You can't play Dobbins until he plays a game. It's as simple as that, because he might get 3 carries, right? I think I'd go Mostert. I get your frustration with Akers. You look terrible in week 1. He hardly saw any snaps. The only play anybody remembers in that game is when he blew the blitz assignment because he didn't want to block and got Matt Stafford creamed. And the Rams don't have a great offensive line right now. It's Mostert by default. But Dobbins, the key with Dobbins is you have to see a game. You need a show me game before you can trust him.
Okay. Sage says, Brandon Cooks or Raheem Mostert in a flex PPR. Should I play Tua over Carr? Also, thanks for the advice to trade Higgins for Waddle. Totally paid off.
Oh, my God. What a great trade that was. Yeah. I got to go Cooks. I'm certainly playing Tua over Carr with the Buffalo injuries in the secondary in a game that I think is going to feature a lot of scoring. And Cooks, he's still the number 1 target in Houston. Davis Mills he hasn't been great through 2 weeks, but I think he can be maybe a league average quarterback. This is not a great Bears defense. I feel pretty good about Brandon Cooks in week 3.
Sean has a question.
Scott, I got a dilemma here.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen or Tua?
Well, how'd you end up with both of those guys?
I'm not a good drafter. I just ended up with them. I just kind of draft who I want. I also have.
Well, first of all, hopefully you can find somebody who has Tom Brady, who's panicking, who maybe thought Trey Lance was the answer, who's panicking. You got to try to trade one of those guys, and it's not always easy. I get asked all season. I'll get asked 2 great quarterback questions. Who do I start? And I'll say, "Have you tried the trade one?" They usually say, "Yeah, I have." Either nobody needs a quarterback or the people who need them are too dumb to realize they need them. I would try to trade one of them, and I'd be fine to trade either one of them and get an upgrade elsewhere. Because Allen has such a magnetic rushing element, I have to play Allen first.
Okay, there you go. Let's see. Question, should I start Hilliard over Cam Akers?
There I would go Akers, not with any level of confidence. I assume people like Jeff Wilson aren't available to you, long gone. But it's ugly. I can't play Hilliard yet, man. I mean, he's just not a starter, and it's an offense I don't trust.
Okay, if you want to get in, 855-912-1056 on the Welt and Rayom text line. Big O, need 2 in a PPR flex. Matt Ryan, Jeff Wilson, J.K. Dobbins, Jarvis Landry, Tony Pollard, Miko Hardiman. G from Pennsylvania wants to know.
Yeah, it's the first 2 guys. And Hardman, I'm not sure Hardman is rosterable. I know Ryan looked horrible last week, really both weeks, but I think Pittman's back this week. And in a super flex, a quarterback is just such an important player to score points. So you have to give him another week.
Okay. Tight end, Knox or Conklin?
that sums up the tight end's position right now.
No, right?
There's like 4 tight ends who are playing well for us, and everybody else is driving us crazy. Cole Kmet doesn't have a catch yet. I think I had him ranked as my tight end 12 before the season. I don't think he's tight end 12 right now. Knox has been another guy who's been a total brick. Conklin's getting a lot of routes. The Jets have been just chucking the ball all over the place. Flacco threw 59 passes in the first game, and obviously he threw it all over the yard last week. But I gotta give Knox one more week. I can't give up on him yet. I can't go down to tie Conklin on Knox yet. I get why you're asking, and if you had maybe Tyler Higbee, I could do it, but I can't do it for Conklin.
All right. Which 2 should I start? Chase Edmonds, Dave Montgomery, or Dameon Pierce?
It's Montgomery and Pierce. Showing, I'm not going to be a hometown bias guy if I don't think it's merited. Pierce got back in the circle of trust last week. I know the Bears offense is ugly, but the market share is all Montgomery. Herbert looks good, but they're going to give like 19 touches to Montgomery and like 6 to Herbert, and that's the currency. I know they're going in the same game, but there's going to be a lot of running. Neither team wants their quarterback to throw 35 passes. I'm not sure the Bears want to throw 25 passes.
With Mike Evans out, wide receiver number 2, Allen Robinson, Ayuk, Devontae Smith, or Judy if healthy?
Really good depth. Robinson got off the restricted list last week. It's a really narrow passing tree with the Rams, and we've talked about how we don't trust Akers. They need to throw the ball. I think they'll throw it 40 times this week. Robinson should soak up 8 to 10 targets. That's a good receiver room. You've drafted well. You've assembled good depth, but Robinson's your play.
Hockenson or Gesicki?
I give Hockenson one more week. I would love to see Gesicki have a role in this offense. We all know he's a move tight end. He's not really a blocker. They want a mover at that position, somebody who can actually move bodies. But at least Gesicki had the 4 catches and the touchdown last week. Hockenson, again, the tight end position has been extremely frustrating, but Detroit is putting up points. I think there's going to be a lot of points in their week 3 game against Minnesota. I give Hockenson one more week.
Let's see. What do we got here? Juice F5 sends in a super chat question. Which should I trade? Judy, Eckler, Mooney, or Elijah Moore?
We'll throw everybody on the out in the market and see what they'll fetch. I don't think Eckler really belongs in that group. The thing with Elijah Moore and why I'm glad you're shopping him in trade is he's a good player. I think Garrett Wilson's the number 1 receiver on the Jets, and he's only playing 2/3 of the snaps right now. They're eventually going to fix that. So in situations like that, so Judy, Mooney, and Moore are your receivers, right? Because, again, Eckler's kind of in a different group. Throw them all out there and let your opponents decide. Maybe they'll screw up. Maybe they'll pick the wrong guy. Say, here are the receivers I want to trade. Who do you like the most? If they give you a bad list, you can exploit it. If they give you a list you don't like, you can argue against it. Let them kind of make them show their cards first is what I would do in that situation.
Chase Edmonds or James Robinson? I'm going James Robinson, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting like 75% of the backfield work. Although Etienne has been more efficient, but he put the ball on the ground. He dropped a touchdown pass. He's basically a rookie because he didn't play last year. What a comeback for Robinson, that late season Achilles injury.
Dude, it's an Achilles injury, and he's coming back this strong. That is amazing. Well, by the way, a follow-up is, Yo Dudis on the chat board is asking, so do I give up on Etienne?
No.
Handcuff, right?
He's averaging 2.5 more yards per touch. The thing is, he's basically in a rookie season, and every coach, when you fumble, they have to put you in jail, or they have to teach you your lesson and finger wag at you. So they're kind of doing that with Etienne. I actually think he'll be involved plenty against the Chargers. They're 7-point underdogs, but man, Robinson, usually the Achilles is a kill shot. That's been a big reason why Cam Akers can't get going. I mean, hats off to James Robinson right now. His market share makes him startable, but not only do not give up on Etienne, there's a guy you could trade for cheaply right now. I bet his managers are very frustrated. Again, Don't go to the guy and say, hey, I want Travis Etienne. Say, I need a running back. I see you got like 4 good ones, and see if maybe he'll trade Etienne for less than what he's worth.
All right. Big O, Tino from New Mexico. Who do I start flex? Raheem Mostert or Mike Williams?
Look at what Big Mike Williams did last week, Thursday night. I know that the Chargers don't have a ton of team speed, but Williams is a great contested catch guy. I'm glad you've all added Mostert. I need to see one more week of how Miami shakes out the usage because they paid Edmonds so much money. I can't believe that Edmonds is just going to be mothballed. Obviously, Mostert has history with the coaching staff, but Mike Williams is probably the number one receiver tied to Justin Herbert. That means a lot to me.
Flex spot, Edmonds, Mostert, Devontae Smith, or Ayuk?
I'm going to go with Ayuk because Jimmy G, here's the thing, right? Trey Lance was going to run a lot. Trey Lance is not experienced as a downfield passer. Now he's out for the season. We really have no idea if Trey Lance can play. He's hardly played the last few seasons. Garoppolo has always been a YPA guy. He's not going to run much. There's some unsettling shuffling in the running back room. I think Ayuk's value actually jumped in the last week.
All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Is it worth to stash Cole? I don't like vaccines, Beasley.
I ignored him on all my waiver lists, even in teams that needed receiver help. I think he's at an age where it's just hard to get it back. He's always been a player who needed that burst and explosion, and now that at the age that he's in and how ineffective he was last year, he had no training camp. My expectations are extremely low.
Singletary, Thielen, or Curtis Samuel in the flex?
I don't know why Buffalo doesn't want to run the ball. I think they had 21 straight passes at one point last week. Samuel is getting schemed up. I mean, it used to be you said Samuel on the show. We knew you were talking about Deebo Samuel, but Curtis Samuel's off the restricted list. They're running the ball to him, throwing him short, throwing him medium. He's the most targeted player on an offense that includes Terry McLaurin. That's killing my McLaurin shares, and I still like McLaurin, but right now, Samuel's the featured player on that offense. I know Carson Wentz is frustrating to watch on a snap-to-snap basis. He'll throw a couple of awful passes. But, I mean, that team's putting up points. They're going to have to chase the game against Philadelphia. I think Curtis Samuel is maybe a receiver, too, this week.
All right. Tell them a little bit about Yahoo Sports and what you guys do on Sunday to get folks ready and what you're doing for the next couple of days.
Sure. I put my sleepers out on, first of all, Wednesday I did a redraft. What I would do if a draft started today, the first two rounds, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were both featured heavily and high on that list. Thursday, I put my sleepers out. Today, after I finish this show, I'll do my NFL picks. We're 6-4 against the spread. Hey, you can go 60%. You never have to work a day in your life. Sunday is Fantasy Football Live. It's the final hour before kickoff. We talk injuries. We'll give you all the intel on the weekend you need to know, who to start, who to sit, who to play in DFS, who to bet on, all that stuff. Yahoo Fantasy. Andy Behrens, who's on the show on Monday, is part of the show. I'm part of the show. Matt Harmon, all your favorite Yahoo people. So come hang with us. It's just September, Big L, but we want leverage, right? We want to be 2-1. We want to be 3-0. It's much easier. You don't want to be like me, 0-2, and having to make trades. Although I'm happy to get Tua and Tyreek Hill, and they're going to make me 1-2 in that league. But we want you to have leverage. That means we're going to grind together. We're going to get you a win in week 3.
There you go. And follow him on Twitter at Scott_Pianowski. Catch him here once a week. Well, actually, we got Andy Behrens on Mondays at noon and Scott Pianowski on Fridays at noon with 2 fantasy segments a week. Scott, as always, you're a stud, my brother. Appreciate you big time. May the big Tua win be yours.
I appreciate it. And as always, man, you always get your listeners always have the smartest questions. Just the way people have assembled their teams. I know they get fantasy. You've always been a radio host. You play it, you understand it. So this is always one of my favorite spots of the week because we get to talk to smart people. You know, it's not this, the silly questions like, should I pick up Garrett Wilson? Nobody's going to ask me that in this show because they know they should pick up Garrett Wilson, stuff like that. So I always appreciate talking to you. The listeners are great, and let's keep rocking and rolling, man.
Smart people, what the hell are they doing listening to me? That's what I want to know.
In spite of you, apparently, they've become pretty smart. So,
exactly. Maybe they're checking out Sean. That's what it is. It's not. It's all about
production value.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Scott, as always, have a great weekend, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
Be good, buddy.
You got it. That is your Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone.
You've been listening to the Sports Grill Fantasy Football Zone with Yahoo Sports' Scott Pianowski. Go to sportsgrill.com to find a great location near you. Fantasy football fans, subscribe to the Big O Radio Show on YouTube and all other platforms to catch up with all our fantasy football insight provided by Scott Pianowski and Andy Behrens.
And there we are. We are back. All right. Talking a little fantasy. My man Jeff got a little fantasy advice in there. Jeff, how you doing, man? You doing all right? Oh, wait a minute. Here we go.
Cannot complain. Doing well.
Mr. Tarabolis. Did I pronounce it right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. All right. Because, with Alzagari, brother.
You and I
Teacher
have that
is
struggle.
Orlando. I'm here, Teach. Don't worry about it. Don't even bother. I'm here. I know who you're reaching out to. That's good. It's all good. So how you feeling, man?
Good. How about you?
Very good. I mean, every time we come, you're not here, dude. You're world traveling all over the place, opening up a new branch. Got a new one in Palm Beach now.
Yep.
Congratulations, by the way. Because I always have Alan here to congratulate. I never have you here to congratulate on your accomplishments as the company continues to grow.
I appreciate it. We're growing like crazy. The only thing that's really stopping us from growing even faster is just finding people. The labor market's tough right now, trying to find people. If we could just find the people. So I'm putting that message out there for everybody right now. Anybody looking for an accounting job?
I got somebody for you. But go ahead.
We got a great culture here. Looking for more people to help with our growth. We merged in a firm a few months ago in Boynton Beach.
Yeah.
We're building a brand new office now in Boca. I'm going to be looking for a lot of FAU students.
Nice.
To join our team.
There you go, Owls. Let's go. Hoot, hoot. Come on. KSDT CPAs.
Yeah, definitely. We're very big at FIU. Obviously, we're official CPA firm at FIU, and just looking to grow. And that's why I've been traveling so much. Trying to build the firm. Possibly, nothing set in stone, but possibly going to open up an office in Charlotte in January, hopefully.
Okay. Can I selfishly ask for something?
Absolutely.
Can you open up one in Key West, and that way we can go down to the Keys and just, hang out? Maybe Isla Mirada. Let's go halfway only.
Okay.
All right. Let's open up a KSDT CPA offices in the Keys. And then, on Fridays, Sean and I show up, and then, we're in the Keys. Let's just hang out for the weekend.
Get me one of your big clients or somebody that operates in the Keys. I'll open up the office tomorrow.
By the way, you know what? Welton Rayom, they our lawyers, our law office that is proud sponsor of ours. And Jeff, by the way, has been listening to our show for over 20 years.
Yep.
Been a long time fan of the show. And they have offices actually in the Keys. So in Hollywood and the Keys. So maybe you guys can team up and open up. We're actually going to do eventually, I think in a few months down the line, we're going to do a dog adoption show out there because they've got some of that stuff going on over there. And so I'm looking forward to that. Eventually, we're going to do a show out in the Keys to get some dogs adopted. So
when you go, call me. Cool. I'll be there with you.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward because we have adopted dogs in our home. We've got several. Are you a dog person?
Unfortunately, the wife is a cat person.
Okay.
3 cats.
All right, good. All right. There's nothing wrong with that, man.
Got a lot of animals at the house, actually. So,
yeah. What other ones?
Well, we got 13 chickens.
Wow.
7 quail.
Okay.
2 parrots. Big fish tank.
Okay.
a lot of animals at the house.
Good. I like that. That is very cool. All right. So, and now we work on Keys offices, right? Alan, you're all for a Keys office, right? I mean, that's you guys brought a foosball table now.
Yeah.
You guys, you saw what it's working for the Dolphins with the ping pong, and you said, we got to do something. I walk in. Was it 2 weeks ago? Was it 2 or 3 weeks ago? We walk in and it's Tyreek and Tua playing ping pong and all that stuff. And I laughed because you saw he got slimed this week.
I actually missed that one. I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's out there. You could just go to MiamiDolphins.com. He was the Nickelodeon Valuable Player, the MVP.
Awesome.
And so then they slimed him and all that. I just laugh because he's such a great human being. And when people say, oh, well, he's not he doesn't socialize with his teammates, and it's the polar opposite, that he is actually a guy that gravitates to people and that he's the kind of guy that people gravitate to. Because good people tend to do that. They tend to be magnets because little do you know, we're all so imperfect. When we kind of run into those people that know how to handle things the right way, secretly, we really admire that because we know we can't do it. I know I can't. Yeah. I could never do and go through what the hell he went through the last 2 years with everybody, a whole bunch of people wanting everybody else but him.
That's why it's probably so gratifying for him after that game, And I mean, how does it feel for you being so right? I mean, no one is more right on this guy than you. You've been singing his praises more than anybody.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
I'm happy for him because it's not fair.
Yeah.
University Drive in Davie and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Well,
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Good morning. Hey Siri, who's the best team in the NFL?
So far, the Dolphins are in first place in the NFL with a record of 2-0.
When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right. We're back. YouTube, I don't know what happened, bro. I don't know. Something happened. Shows were going down all over the place across YouTube. It was not a us thing. It was them.
Sean did nothing.
Right. Yeah, Sean. Yeah, it's not Sean. Yes, exactly. So don't fire Sean now because I know how you people are. You know they had you fired.
They were saying nice job. Like, hey, we're back. Great job, Sean. I'm like, I did nothing. Either way.
No, but
it wasn't my fault we were off. It was my fault we're back on.
They fire you.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? That's how it works.
That's
right?
just cruel.
Yeah, that's how it works.
That's just no, it doesn't. Not
I'm
here.
the Tua of producers.
Oh man, there you go. That's why we tell you when you make a donation, you go to Cash App or Venmo. Don't do it on the super chat because damn YouTube's taking 30% of it. All right, we're awaiting Doug so we can talk a little Dolphins with him. Looking forward to it. While we do that, by the way, when sports and business collide, Sean Stanley, you know what we do on this show when sports and business collide? We do something called the KSDT CPA Sports Business Report. All right, this thing just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm not talking about the NFL. I'm talking about Apple. They made a deal with the NFL now, and it's a hell of a deal. Apple Music will become the NFL's new Super Bowl halftime show partner in a multi-year pack. Financial terms of the deal were not disclosed, but I did find out in another article it's nearly $50 million a year for the halftime show. Okay? For the halftime show. That's crazy. Super Bowl's halftime show this past year, 120 million viewers. They watched Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Mary J. Blige. I don't know why 50 Cent was there, and Kendrick Lamar. Not just 50 Cent, not Kendrick Lamar. The performance won an Emmy for Outstanding Variety Special in early September. And what else do we have here? The tech giant has shown interest in acquiring minority stake in the NFL media, which included NFL Network, NFL Red Zone, and NFL.com. Apple is the front runner for NFL's Sunday Ticket, the package of out-of-town games that will become available after this season. The NFL is seeking $2.5 billion per season, $1 billion more than what DirecTV is paying right now, which has had the package since 1994 and the current deal. That is crazy stuff, and that's the reason why they're doing this. Apple is being really smart here because now we're watching that the TV companies are losing power because we're going to platforms. We were just Jeff Allen and myself, we were just talking about this, how you can't listen to radio anymore. It's unlistenable. You don't have the time, the commercials, all of that. So you have on-demand platforms, YouTube and Amazon. And last night we were watching Amazon, right? Watching that game. I was. And I've had Prime for years. I got it only for free shipping. And for me, Prime has grown into one hell of a bargain because really I get its money's worth just on free shipping all year from items. In fact, I ordered 2 Funko Pops U2. They're finally out. I pre-ordered them, so I got them soon for the studio. But this is what Apple's doing. And Apple and who's the other one that I'm thinking of? Damn it. Who's the other platform that's Amazon? Exactly. Apple, Amazon, they're not dumb. So they've got the movies, they've got the shows, they've got channels, all that stuff. And they said, we got to add sports. You know, Sunday Night Football is it owns the highest rated shows in the last few years. 48 out of the last 50 highest rated shows are owned by Sunday Night Football. So Amazon and Apple, they know they've got to get into the sports business to build their empires and continue to strengthen their empires. So there you go. Apple makes the move. They now have halftime for nearly $50 million a year. The NFL prints money. That is your KSDT CPA Sports Business Report.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
There you go. Now let's switch over and talk a little Miami Dolphins with our friend Dudley Do Wrong. Yeah, baby. We do it on his channel. Normally earlier in the week, I had a whole bunch of issues and we weren't able to do it. Last week, he wasn't able to be on my channel because
payback.
So you know what? I promise you next week we'll get it right. We'll his channel on Tuesdays and then our channel on Fridays, and we'll get that shit straightened out and we'll get it going. But either way, life is so good.
Oh my goodness.
They're 2-0, and I'm watching all the folks, you know, have a come to Jesus like I was wrong. Well, actually, they're not really saying I was wrong. They're not there yet. They're like, well, wow, he looks different with some talent. Oh, he looks different with some coaches. Oh, yeah, let's see if he can beat the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
So they're still trying to protect themselves. But, you know, some people are coming to the realization that maybe Tua can play ball.
Did you see that Sean Payton completely changed his narrative?
That was
all of a sudden, oh, he's going to get benched for Teddy Bridgewater too. I was wrong. Oh.
Yeah, and here's where I get pissed off at Sean Payton and why he lost me forever now. You wanted to play the politics game. You came out and you wanted to defend your guy because you signed him and he was on your team, so you wanted to play that game of like the players do, you know, like the players, like Jalen Waddle, when he was talking to Mac Jones coming out of the draft, it's because, like he said, Tua's already in the NFL. I don't need to help him. I got to help my teammate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was doing what was natural, what teammates normally do for each other. But you're a head coach, dude. You got to call it like you see it. And it was really dumb to say that because Teddy Bridgewater is a fantastic young man.
Yeah.
But none of his offenses have ever been explosive. In fact, the 5 games he played for New Orleans, Champagne kind of left that out. He threw 9 touchdowns during those 5 games. He couldn't even average 2 touchdowns in a game.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they won those games, but they won those games because they had a great defense and a running game, and he just had to do enough and facilitate. But to say that Teddy Bridgewater is going to start over Tua, it's just as dumb as the people saying, "Oh no, Skyler's looking really good." No, Skyler Thompson will be the start. I mean, come on, man. Just the shit we've had to deal with.
Yeah.
With Tua, it's not so much. Look, if you don't believe in the kid, I'm good with that, Doug.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just don't tell me he can't throw deep, and don't tell me he can't play on a high scoring offense, and don't tell me he can't do things you already saw him do at Alabama.
That's what always drove me nuts, and I got called a two in the ear and all that stuff because I would push back on false narratives.
Right.
Don't tell me he can't, he won't, he doesn't do things. If you say consistently he doesn't, then I'm like, all right, then I can see where you're coming from. But when you say he can't do this and he doesn't do that, I'm like, I have proof right here that he does it consistently. Like, come on. That's the thing that always drove me nuts, is that the definite can't, won't, doesn't. It's crazy.
Well, and the laziness, like 2 weeks ago, the 47, the 4th and 7 and the touchdown. Right? Oh, so he hit an open receiver, right? No, you idiot. He manipulated the safety on the left side to make sure the receiver was open, moron. Pay attention. Look at what the hell is going on. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, oh, no, anybody can hit that. No, that route is closed if it's Tannehill, because he doesn't look off the safety. He stays looking at the receiver because that's what Tannehill has done. That's what he still does to this day. He looks down his receivers. Tua does not. Tua will look off safeties, will manipulate them. Go watch the Kurt Warner videos.
Yeah, exactly.
He shows you all the time how he's doing it and manipulating stuff. In fact, Alan Poupar, who I have on twice a week, he and I were going back and forth on Monday on the pass that he made in between 4 guys. And I was saying, dude, that's a hell of a pass. And Poupar wasn't impressed with it. And then you go back to Warner's video and he shows you, well, that's actually the second window that he finds, Tyreek in. That route is designed to have 2 windows. The first one was closed. The second one's open for an inkling, and he got it in there in that inkling. One hell of a throw. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. And it's
the game-winning touchdown. That was his 3rd read.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Like, Matt Hasselbeck showed that he scanned the entire field and then found Waddle and then made another my guy or nothing type pass, because if he misses this, all right, we have one more down, and then worst case scenario, we tie, go to overtime. Like, Tua had, and I say this, an elite 4th quarter. Like, it wasn't good. It wasn't great. That second half for Tua was elite. Even his first half with the 2 interceptions, he was actually playing pretty decent that first half. But he made those 2 little mistakes. He bounced back. He did his thing. But that second half was elite. And I said this on my channel. If Tua can play the rest of the season like he did that second half, he is going to be in consideration for MVP.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And by the way, the problem is we have morons, and sometimes they're former players, like Brandon Marshall, who's an idiot.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Well, Keyshawn's another moron. But yeah, I mean, he's such a moron. They told him, shut up, stay on the sidelines. We'll win a Super Bowl without you. Anyway, so, but remember Brandon Marshall, like, I don't know, 2 months ago or whatever. He's a quick twitch, one read guy, or I forgot what I'm paraphrasing, but he basically said he can't read defenses. He locks in on one guy and then that's it. He's a quick twitch throw guy, and that's bull crap, dude. It's like, I guess you don't watch Alabama. You pay attention. You just look at the score and you think, well, Alabama trounced another team. But you didn't bother to watch the passes, how they were all in stride, how they led receivers, how he did throw downfield when he had to throw downfield, all of those things. And, I'm watching the Kurt Warner video a couple days ago, or was it last night or whatever. Anyways, and he throws out a line, 90% of the game is played within 30 yards. It's like, yeah, go watch. I'm watching that Chiefs game, and both Herbert and Mahomes, they're all throwing a crap ton of short passes.
Mhm.
And during the game, I'm also showing how they're underthrowing a bunch of passes, and I'm retweeting that stuff out there saying, hey, because only Tua underthrows passes, and those are the false narratives that just drive your ass crazy.
Last year, there was, I think it was 9 passes over 55 yards, and 2 of them were Hail Marys. But people expect and want to see it consistently. That's not how it works.
No.
Like Patrick Mahomes threw the 9 route. I think Tua threw it more than Patrick Mahomes last year, and Tua didn't have Tyreek Hill last year. So people have this like preconceived notion in their head, and they need to just sit back, watch the game. Like the Patriots game, people came out and said, "Oh, 2 of this and 2 of that." We won. Let's enjoy the win, and let's enjoy this big win, because we got this huge game coming Sunday. It's big. It's big.
By the way, the other false narrative that developed also, they drafted the wrong receiver. They should have gotten the Cincinnati kid. We got a guy that's catching 5-yard passes. It's like, did you not watch Alabama? Waddle can go deep, dude.
Mhm.
It's not that it's just, it's what requires on this sorry-ass offense that can't block, can't run, and has no other receivers. Tua has 2 seconds to throw the ball. He doesn't have time to get downfield. Nobody wanted to hear that.
Nope.
Well, not nobody, but the illogical people did not
Mhm.
want to hear that. And yet you're trying to explain it. And by the way, I started the show by this also. Okay, so the Tua hates calm down, but I'm not going to allow the Greer people to go away. I remember you people slamming Chris Greer. Where are you now? Where are you now? Okay, because Chris Greer's done a hell of a job, and you were slamming him. And guess what? If Tua's a hit, so is Chris Greer. Okay, because he's hit on plenty of other picks, but he found the franchise quarterback, and that's something that nobody's done since Marino. So, I want the people also that were, slamming Greer, you need to come forward too, because that guy's done a hell of a job finding undrafted players, late round players, trades, whatever. They have bringing Marvin Allen and Reggie McKenzie over,
That was big.
man, they've done he's done a great job overall. I mean, look at, and what I love is that his lack of ego will allow everybody to grow as human beings, because look at your defensive coordinator, Josh Boyer. He's credited with finding Cater Kohu. He's the guy that nurtured that relationship. He's the guy that was contacting Cater. He's the guy that was working out Cater. He's the guy that believed in him. And then he went to the front office and they said, okay. And they went and gave him a little extra money so they can bring him over as an undrafted free agent. And the rest is history. And by the way, they found Trill Williams before that, who was on his way, and Nick Needham. These are all guys that are undrafted. Okay, so you can complain all the hell you want about Noah Igbenogany, but god damn it, bro, he hits on 2 of the best safeties in the league in Minka, then is forced to trade him because of his coach, then gets the next guy in line who's just as good as Mink or maybe even better, and then he also finds, other guys at that defensive back spot. I mean, dude, get off Chris Greer's ass.
Yeah, seriously.
It's just I want to hear more people backtrack on that too.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because the backtracking on Tua is, like you said, you're noticing it. People are getting quieter. I have trolls on my channel that all of a sudden they disappeared after the Ravens game, but there are still some out there. They're saying, "Oh, he was just throwing to wide open guys," and "Oh, the Ravens, packed it in after they were up by 21," and they still can't give this kid credit, and I don't understand it, because for a fact if the score stayed the way it was and the Dolphins got blown out, they'll be out in forces. But all of a sudden, you can't just give him credit. Just say he played a good second half, and let's see if he can chain them together. That's all you got to say. If you still are, not 100% on him, all right. But give the kid credit. Come on.
Yeah, and listen, you can also say you're wrong. I'm wrong a shit ton, bro. Just admit it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
you're wrong and you're wrong, and so what? And guess what? Get ready. You'll be wrong again down the line, and you'll be wrong again, because we're all wrong. We get things wrong in life, in sports, the weather, the stock market, the crypto market, our kids, whatever, dude. My kid's going to have a great year in Little League, and he just sucked that year. What are you going to do, bro. It happens. Oh, my wife, she'll be fine with it. Oh, man, the bitch screamed my ear off. You're wrong sometimes, No, it just happens in life all the time in different scenarios. Admit you're wrong, and that's all. Admit you were wrong about Chris Greer. Admit you were wrong about Tua Tagovailoa. That's it, dude. That's it. Admit you were wrong about Jalen Waddle, because that was the other narrative that I just told you about.
Mhm.
You said it, false narratives.
Yep.
Have developed so many on a, and you know what? And it bothers me those.
Yeah.
But the McDaniel one, I can understand. You don't know what he is as a coach.
Exactly.
You've never seen him as a coach. Oh, dude, I don't know about this guy. I'm stuck with Gase and Cameron and Sperano, and I get it. We've been burned by the
Yeah.
assistant coach elevated that you never knew what he was going to be. But then again, we were burned by the established head coach in Jimmy Johnson, Parcells, and Saban. It didn't matter.
We're always burnt.
Yeah, that's why the Sean Payton thing is like, oh, when people we could have had Sean Payton. Yeah, and so he could have ended up like Jimmy Johnson and like Bill Parcells. Who cares, dude?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? All right. So what do you think about this game this week, man? Because they've got two rookie corners or young corners, not rookies. Micah Hyde is going to be out.
Mhm.
Okay. And so, man, with the receiving core that Miami has, they're going to blitz the crap out of Tua. They're going to try to pressure him, but I would imagine getting rid of the football is going to be, and he's got great practice from the last 2 years with no line, so he's good at making decisions under 2 seconds.
This game is really going to come down to what the Dolphin defense can do, because I honestly think that Mike McDaniel, the thing I love the most about this new Dolphin team is their versatility and their ability to change it up. And we saw it with both games. The Ravens game, they made huge adjustments at second half. The Patriots game, Patriots are running down the Dolphins' throat. Second half, they came out, they shut down the run. So both games made great adjustments and changes at halftime. So I'm good with the offense. To me, it's the defense. Facing Josh Allen, facing Davis, Diggs, that's where it's going to come down to. And again, we don't have Byron. We have, these young guys as well on the perimeter. I think that's where the game defining is going to come down to.
Are you with me? Kohu has to be the outside guy. He's
100%.
the better guy.
100%. Yeah.
I said it 2 weeks ago because I've watched him all throughout training camp, and he's so much more athletic. He has better body control in the air. He's just a better athlete to play the perimeter. And I love Needham inside. He doesn't have to go up in the air inside, very little. But on the outside, you need a little extra athleticism, and I think Kohu really brings it.
Yeah, Needham was struggling a little bit on that perimeter. I agree with you 100%. And I think honestly, it's going to come down to who can stop the opposing offense the most. That's going to win. And because I think this is going to be another shootout. I think this is going to be a big game. And like you said, the Bills have that front where they can get pressure by just sending 4. And that's what we have to worry about. I don't think either team's really going to be running it much because both teams are still kind of struggling a little bit in that run department. But again, I expect Mike McDaniel draw some things up, make some motions happen through the Sunday's game. The big pivotal moment was when Chase Edmonds took it for 30, 40 yards to get us down the field. Supposedly that was an audible by Tua. I can't figure out if that was true or not, but supposedly Tua audibled it to a run, and that's where that play came from. And again, if that's the case, just another another feather in that kid's cap.
Yeah, but again, like, really, you think some people are like, oh yeah, no, he can't read defenses. Really, bro? Is that where you're going? Like, is that your lazy take? What'd you hear? You heard Skip Baseless say it or something, bro? Like, what was it? Cow turd? Who was it? It just, and that's a problem in our business.
Yeah.
You have the professional trolls out there, and then they say stupid stuff because they're just doing it just to get a rise out of people. That's all they do it for, bro. And and they fall for it.
Yeah.
What's it called? The hook, line, and sinker, as they say, and they fall for it. And it's frustrating because that's what we have to battle all the time out there. because there's so much of that
Mhm.
littered all over the place. All right. We look obviously at the Tua test. The other thing I talked about this week, Doug, the McDaniel test also happened
Yes.
very fast because you heard it and so did I. Oh, McDaniel's really cute with all those jokes. Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah. We'll see how funny it is when the shit hits the fan and they're down by 15 and it's the fourth quarter. We'll see how those jokes are going to work out. Well, guess what?
Worked
I
out pretty
guess
well.
the jokes, I guess the human being, I guess the coach connected with his players because his players responded to him and the team, and that question was answered with Mike McDaniel right away.
Mhm. And his post game in the locker room was just perfect, saying, you gotta trust yourself. Don't get down. I told you guys stuff like this was gonna happen. I told you were gonna hit versatility. It's about how we bet. He's hitting the spots that we need him to hit early. I didn't expect him to be doing as well as he is this early. I gave it to like week 4. That's normally about the time where, especially the new offenses and stuff, they start to click, they start to get together. And he's doing it week 2. So I don't want to get my hopes up because, like you said, we've been burned before, but this
Yeah.
is going in a good direction. And if he can keep doing this, this is the test. You're facing a very, very good Buffalo Bills team with a very, very good quarterback. If he can come out of this game with a win, Miami Dolphins, like you posted on Twitter right now, they're the best team in the NFL. They beat the Bills on Sunday. They are definitely the best team in the NFL.
All right, so and here's a rant for you. Here's why I know it's different. Okay, are
Mhm.
you ready for me?
Yes, I am.
When you had the great defense, you always knew Jay Fiedler was a game manager
Mhm.
at best, and your talent on offense wasn't really elite. So it was a defense that was carrying you.
Mhm.
The offense, when you had it with Lamar Smith, same things. You were very limited. You were more of a running offense, didn't have the power to really crank up the points, and you were relying on a defense. When you did the Wildcat, you relied on a gimmick that
Yep.
wasn't really going to carry you forever. When you had your 10-6 with Ajayi, well, yeah, that wasn't really the real deal because you knew all you had was Ajayi, and it really wasn't, again, a quarterback that was going to take you and put you over the top when it's all said and done. Even I can go back to, the Chad Pennington year where you got pummeled by Baltimore because, yeah, you played smart enough football that was good enough to win games because you didn't turn over the ball and you played solid defense and you had just enough offense because your offense was kind of pathetic. It
Mhm.
couldn't score much. So there wasn't really much of a complete picture and a complete team when you start to look at it. Well, let's talk about the 2022 Dolphins. They're a pretty good defense. They're not even healthy yet because they still need their starting corner in there. Well, let's talk about the offense now. Now you got speed coming out of the backfield. You got a fullback that's going to knock your pecker into your sock. You got a tight end that can leap over goalposts to catch balls if you want. You got 2 of the fastest receivers in the NFL, arguably the best pair of wide receivers in the NFL. You have one of the best young minds offensively in football. This is the most complete team that the Miami Dolphins have had in over 25 years. Because even when Marino was with Jimmy, that offense was completely stripped down. It was Marino with Aronde, and it wasn't really much. Remember, he got rid of Irving Fryer. He got rid of
Mhm.
everything there. And your defense was young at that moment. It was kind of up and coming. It really came to life when Wani took over,
Yeah.
not when Jimmy took over, not when Jimmy was in charge. It was really a Wani thing. So I can argue in the last quarter century, the Miami Dolphins have not had a more complete team and coaching staff than they have right now in the
Mhm.
2022 season. So this is why, and again, I don't do things for clickbait. I don't do things to get you riled up. I do things because I believe in them. And I believe that these Dolphins are better than any of the Dolphins we have seen in the last 25 years. So we can legitimately feel really good about this team. What do you say about that?
The thing I love the most, and it's not even just the offense and defense, it's not even just the players, but it's also the coaching that Mike McDaniel surrounded himself with. He didn't think to himself, I don't want someone talking back to me. He thought to himself, I might need help.
Best coach. Let me get the best coach. Let me get the best coach. I don't care if he was a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
He can help me. I don't care if he's a former player that's beloved here. He can help me.
Exactly.
That's Chris Greer, dude. I'll
Yep.
bring Marvin Allen, who's a great personnel guy. I'll bring Reggie McKenzie, who had no business getting fired in Oakland.
Nope.
As you all see what's happened since. Okay? So, yeah, I'll bring those guys over. So, again, hey, Josh Boyer, you like this kid that much? Let's go. You're the defensive coordinator. You coach these. You think this kid or Kohu kid is good? Well, then let's go. We'll sign him. Egoless, bro. McDaniel and Greer, because they're egoless, they're going to allow people to grow and they're going to allow the franchise to become better because look what you've done. Look, Mario did the same thing. Cristobal did the same thing.
Yep.
He brought in a great coaching staff with him at the University of Miami. He's not worried about, ego or anything like that. His ego is, I want to get to work and I want to get it done. And that's exactly what McDaniel's doing. So I'm with you there. The coaching staff, my God. I mean, and especially offensively, my brother.
Oh my goodness. They saw that, okay, Tua's struggling here, Tua's struggling there. What can we do with that? Let's bring in Babel, one of the best quarterback coaches out there.
What a concept. No, let's get his 7-on-7 coach from high school.
To add to the other two guys so that one can give the play to the other guy, can give the play to the other guy, and then eventually Tua can get it with 2 seconds left on the play clock. Okay, that makes
the Dolphins are the only people that were playing telephone on every down. We used to play that when we were in elementary. We'd play telephone and we'd tell a secret and it'd go all the way around and then the story would change. The Dolphins are the only franchise in the world that played telephone with their 3 offensive coordinators. It's freaking awesome. By the time it got to Tua, it was like, what does shit have to do with this play? What does asshole have to do this? What are you guys doing? And so, Tua, we're going to run 42, asshole. Red 6752 on snap, dickwad. Huh? What? What's going on here? And he's hearing like 8 voices in his head. And it's like, yo, dude, I got enough shit down here. You guys can't, I feel bad for it. I mean, what they've put Tua through. I talked about this yesterday. He might be the most mentally tough player in the history of the game. If not, he's top 10 for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Think about it. For 2 years, he had a head coach that hated him.
Mm-hmm.
2 owners that eventually were scheming to go bring another quarterback in. The head coach that hated him wanted another quarterback also. Half or 60% of the fan base saying you're a bust, you can't throw, you're this, you're short, you whatever, all that stuff. The media, again, the idiots piling on, repeating stupid stuff, stirring it all up. And the dude played with no line, no running game, no coaches, nothing. And and then the rumors of Watson, we saw how Baker Mayfield,
it was a week. He was done in a week.
Joe Burrow just shut down Twitter and Instagram. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. You're not going to the Super Bowl, huh? Yeah. I mean, if Joe Burrow shut down his Twitter and Instagram on the start of the Bengals season at 0-2, I don't even want to know what he would have done in the 2 years here. He might have been on the top of the Empire State Building trying to jump off at this point. I'm serious. You think about all of that. You're coming back from a hip injury.
Mm-hmm.
They also screw your ribs and your knuckle up. Okay. I mean, think about all the crap that's gone on with this kid. And at no point did he complain. At no point did he point fingers. At no point did he panic. At every point, he just stayed steady and stayed the course and stayed positive and tried to find a way through it. And even though, and you could tell by the end of last season in his face, it was wearing on him.
Oh, yeah.
But he was still what's that called? Stoic
Yeah.
through it all. And that says to me a crap ton, dude. A crap ton on how mentally tough
Mhm.
that guy is. And when they say, "Oh, no, he doesn't want to be remember, he didn't want to be a captain." No, dude, you had to politic to be a captain. That's not Tua. Tua doesn't want praise.
No.
He's not going to do that, and neither is X, by the way, which now we found out, right? Politicking for captain. Well, guess what? X wasn't a captain either. You know why? X isn't going to politic, dude. He'll lead his way. And obviously he must because they voted him. But you see, all these narratives that were created, and that's part of it. And if you really look at it, you should be even happier with this young man.
Mhm.
It's his mental toughness, the fortitude he has had to fight through these 2 years. Special, bro. Special.
Yeah. And if he can keep going, keep doing what he's doing, listen to Mike McDaniel. Like Mike McDaniel said, look, I got you where we are now. Just listen to me. And that's the thing he said from jump. How do you get these players to trust you? You just show them that you can put them in the right situation. And he's shown everyone I can put you in the right situation. Just listen to what I have to say.
All right. Prediction time. What do you got?
I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a very close game. This is such a hard one for me to pick because it can go either way. It really could. I think it's going to come down to the final drive and final team with the ball is going to win. If the Dolphins can stop Josh Allen and if the Dolphins can contain him, I think the Dolphins will win 24-21. But if the Dolphins can't, and if Josh Allen starts doing his thing and the defense kind of starts to falter a little bit, I think you flip the score. I think regardless, it's a one-score win. I do not think it'll be a blowout, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Dolphins pull off this victory 24-21.
I'm going 31-27 Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to surprise them. I think they're going to confuse them a lot with their passing game, actually. I don't think the running game is going to be dominant. I'm glad Phillips is out because they're losing one of their guys on the D-line. They got a bitch of a D-line.
Yeah.
But I really like Miami in this game to eke it out, a tough game, close game, like you said. I'm going to go 31-27. They pull it out there at Hard Rock Stadium. Tua has a terrific game. Defense, I think, turns over Josh Allen, where you didn't get a defensive score last week with all those points, which was pretty amazing. No defensive, no special team score. Unlike Baltimore, they had a special team score in that one. I think you're going to get a defensive score too in this game. So 31-27, Miami wins it.
I can't wait.
Yeah, I like it. All right, Doug, tell them about the channel, folks. So folks that may not be subscribed to your channel, they can go over and make it a home.
YouTube.com/DouglyDoWrong. I cover the Miami Dolphins year round. Doesn't matter. Off season, all that stuff. Cover them year round. Me and Big O will be on every Tuesday, and then I'll be here every Friday. Preview and review. It's going to be a blast.
It's going to be a beautiful thing. It's going to be a great season. Doug, have a great weekend. Enjoy the win on Sunday, my friend. We'll talk on Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
You got it. There you go. Dougly Do Wrong, baby. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. Follow him also on YouTube, okay? He does an excellent job. We love him. All right. Sean Stanley, sir, thank you, as always, for mastering this program. We thank Jeff, of course, Alan, all the great people out here at KSDT for making it nice and easy for us every single month. Ira Winderman, Joe Shad, Scott Pianowski. We thank absolutely loaded show here today on Le Programme. We will see you tomorrow at 1:30 as we get you ready for a little University of Miami football against Middle Tennessee State. We'll have the pre- and post-game show for you. And then on Sunday, we're back. And, boy, we can't wait for Dolphins and Bills. We'll get it started at 11 a.m. We'll get you ready for that 1 o'clock kickoff. And then we'll be back with a happy post-game press conference with the winning coach, Mike McDaniel, and the winning quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, and your comments. I love you all out there. Thank you for keeping it locked. Thank you for all of you out there, that any of you that made a donation to the program. Thank you for visiting our amazing sponsors like KSDT, CPA, and all the other fantastic sponsors that we have. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a good one.